This is the Isaac Moses podcast. I am Justin Horo, joined by the Triple OG Willie Mason and the bro Lukey Stowe. OG.
What is that man doing?
We have fired some people up over the last couple of days.
I love it.
I've got a few little more notes on this whole situation. Yeah. But before we get to that, we can have a laugh. For sure, we can have a laugh about it, and we'll get to the details. And I guess there were parts when I watched some of the stuff back, and me and Lukey were chatting after, where when you come in with really strong takes, I think sometimes I've got to balance it out a little bit. Yeah. And where I reckon I fumbled the ball in this, I assumed you were going to be pro senior players and pro club and all that. So when I was trying to balance out the argument, I was sort of, all right, Mace is going to come in, fire up about, jump on board with Jerome and that. And I sort of maybe misread it. And then, when you do watch it back and you watch some of the clips, a lot of people were fired up. But I guess that's where I sort of dropped the ball with it. And it's not like I have to come in. It's not like where I have to come in and disagree, but
we're nearly on the same page anyway, mate.
For sure, a lot of the time.
That I just didn't. I was like, I read it. I saw a lot of it before we even said anything, and I was just like, "This is a bit much for a 19-year-old kid, especially knowing a few little things, right? That I found out the night before.
For sure,
knowing that It's a coaching thing. We went through that. It's the administration thing. It's the Stefano thing. Why would he leave? There's a lot of things going on. I spoke to some people at the West Tigers in the development and pathways because I played at Leichhardt. Our boys played at Leichhardt at SG Ball.
Okay.
And this ain't the end of the exodus of players, they reckon. It's not. It's just not a good club to be at. Apparently, allegedly, all these words, right?
All right.
And these guys are in pretty key positions there.
All right, let's go to after we finish the podcast, and then I've got some stuff on some more of that information as well. And we'll get to that because I just think there really needed to be at least some questions about why and all the rest of a few of the other things that have arisen during the week. And it's been a huge week for the entire club. But after we finished filming the podcast, straight after it, Benji, Jerome, and Uppy. They had a presser, and you haven't seen it, haven't you?
No, not the whole lot. Was that after on the Thursday?
That was Thursday.
Yeah, so I'd had to do Channel 7 and then say a couple of words on that, and they were talking about bullying, and that's when the whole bullying bullshit come out? Or they just said they were backing their coach. If you have a crack at the coach, you disrespect him, then you disrespect the playing group.
Correct.
Yeah, so I was all over that.
Okay. Well, just my take that anyway.
Sorry, but it's the Channel 7 little take.
Okay, right? So you've only got portions of it. Yes. You didn't watch the full thing. Yes. All right, well, I'll give you my take on it then. I thought you could tell that Jerome and Uppy were clearly frustrated. There are so many layers to this that I believe that they are unable to at least communicate to the media. But I thought Jerome in particular, and not to say Uppy wasn't good, was a 10 out of 10. Yeah. The way he handled the questions, the preparation to go into a presser like that, the questions that the journos asked to Jerome were
all loaded.
Were loaded and top shelf because they were questions that I think from an outsider we wanted to know. We wanted to get as much information as we could. Jerome explained exactly how he felt, but also talked a lot about what's important in-house. And one of them was really, I found really interesting or which I loved from Jerome was they were asked about the meeting, and this is where we'll get to a little bit about around the bullying and what happened in a meeting. And rather than answering the question to begin with, Jerome's like, where did you get that from? That was an in-house only meeting. So I found that really interesting, and I love that from Jerome. He was so firm. Uppy, you could tell, was maybe biting his tongue a little bit more than he would have liked to have.
I could play the villain. Not villain, but like he's very firm. He knows who he is. He's been through the fucking... When you've been through it before and it ain't about you... You know what I mean? He's been through the fire. His feet have been held at the fire for a couple of years. He's been through that shit now. And
he understands the game, doesn't he?
He understands everything. This is a mature man right now who knows who he is. He knows where that club's heading. And that's what I saw when I saw the whole thing. And I was just like, yep. He knows what's going on.
Yeah, well played.
And he's straight bat most of the time, giving you straight answers, like because they were fully loaded 12 gauge shotgun fucking questions.
So
easily answered.
And you know what? Like, I was happy the journos asked some of those hard questions.
Yeah, but no, he was happy that they did too because he's got an answer for everything.
He did have an answer.
And he's a smart man, and he just come from the best culture in the game.
Yeah.
He knows how to build a club. He knows the standards of the club, the pillars of the club, the culture, everything like that. And that's what they're trying to set at the West Tigers. And anything less than that, it's not good enough in his eyes.
Yep.
So you just got to. He just answered it exactly how he is. So I loved it.
Big tick from Jerome. I reckon just as big a tick, Benji. I thought he handled it really well, and it would have been. We talk about
hard,
how hard it's been for Lockie, and we'll get to that in a bit, and the bullying and all that sort of stuff. But like Benji's coaching credentials have been questioned during all this, right? As well, not only from parts during our podcast, but also from external pressures. And you got to remember, like this time last year when they were struggling, Bulldog Richie's He's the journo who first broke the golfing thing that we talked about, right? So this has been happening now for a year. And in my opinion, I think he's handled that criticism really well. He even mentioned it. He said that a lot of people think I can't coach anyway, so nothing's changed. But for sure, he is feeling like the parts of our take on Monday, or Thursday, sorry. He's feeling the pinch of external pressures. Now, the positive, I think, from all of this is the support from Jerome, the support from Appy, the senior playing group, the players, and Richo. It feels like this is, and keep using his name, Lockie galvanised for a bad representation of a pun. But I thought he handled it really well. He's adamant in his beliefs to lead this team, which has been, I guess, under the circumstances, you could understand him, starting to second guess himself.
Yeah.
And you can tell he has sympathy and he has a soft spot for Lockie Galvin.
Yeah, and I think so. So I'll when we said about the golf last week, I said, look, it was like allegedly he plays golf and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, I get it. I don't know for a fact that he plays golf for a three, but they were the rumors out there. So do you know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, that's not a good rumor to have, right? But
I hadn't heard that one in a while though.
Yeah,
so
I know. It was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like he loves golf.
Yeah.
Like footy. I think that's when the story was out that he's a different sort of coach, right?
Yep.
Understand people, coaching an NRL side looks like the most stressful job in the world, especially when you lose it. Even guys like Ciro and all those guys who come through at the Bulldogs in 23, they look highly stressed. Everybody look at Robbo at the Roosters now, like his fucking blood pressure is ridiculous. Ricky Stewart, everybody's under stress, So like, if he's done everything that he needs to do at the club level, like, and the day's done, and there's a day off, surely he can play golf. Is that is that allowed?
Yeah, I think.
Or is it just frowned upon? I'm just having a conversation.
Yeah.
Just say this is totally different from what's even happening now. So, like, do many coaches just go out and golf? I don't think so.
I don't want my coach to golf one time a week. But if he jags the odd competition in, you know how much I love golf.
Yeah, I know.
If he goes like, you jag a couple of wins, you're feeling good, like you say, you're ticking all those boxes. Maybe a couple times a month, one time a month. I think that's 6 again.
I think if you're Craig Bellamy, you can go and golf.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think you just got to get to a certain level of like, get this club up and run and look at me, like the perception and everything is me full time in, all in. Like just say your Ciros and your Websters and all these young coaches. This is the new brigade of young coaches. Rolsey in the building like 60 hours a week plus.
Yep.
You never hear rumours of all this shit, right? And Bulldog Richie broke that. Didn't put Benji in the best light.
Yep.
So that's still going to linger. And it's lingering now again, right? And when they start bringing it all up and then, like he doesn't feel he's going to be developed and this and that. He's not there all the time when I fucking want him. And I'm like, pretty sure if you want Benji to go, let's go through some tape and everything like that, he's there.
Okay, yeah.
That was all my take on the golf. I'm just like, fucking, are they allowed to play golf?
Yeah.
Well, they can.
Like I said, context matters.
It's surely frowned upon now, but right?
Look, again, if going back to context, I think that's the main part to take out of it. Also, and I've said this all along, and I said this last year. Remember when we were talking about this last year, and we were pro Benji, like new coaching and all that, because of this reason. He's got a bigger profile, social media wise, than any other coach has before that we've dealt with. Right? He's not only got it as his own profile because he was a top tier player,
he's a brand,
and he's a brand, right? Before he'd become a coach, he was a brand. So he come into coaching with easily the most followers on any social media out of any of the coaches, and then also his partner lives in that space as well. So the parts that were picked apart last year was right at the start of the year. It was around Bulldog Richie mentioning the golf, and then there was like chat around holidays. Remember when he went on a holiday to Fiji, but there was like a package? So because, and I think, by the way, and my point of this is there are probably going to be more examples of Benji Marshall in the future.
You're going to dig,
in the future,
okay.
Because we've now, Benji Marshall has actually come through the social media world, where a lot of these other coaches haven't. Like, and what I mean by that,
and a fucking superstar.
Superstar.
He was a superstar player.
Yeah.
No one was a superstar player apart from probably Freddie. I think I look at Freddie and go, yep, that kid changed the game. Freddie Fittler changed the game late 80s, early 90s, dominated.
Yep.
When Benji come through, and then he went to head coaching for a couple of years at the Roosters, got the Origin job, whatever it is, But like Benji, now I don't see
anyone else.
Anyone else, mate? No. Everyone's just grinders and just going through that thing and like,
Yeah.
He got fast tracked into being a first grade coach.
Yep.
Fast tracked, right? Because he is Benji Marshall. It's not like he was so just say rumours about Ciro. There was rumours about Ciro 5 years ago that he's the next man up. You know that? He's the key behind the defensive system out there. He's the key behind this. You know what I mean? Like you knew he was coming up. Yeah. Apparently Rolsey was the next guy up. Yes. Rolsey's learning off Bellamy. So you never heard of.
Okay, so they've all done their apprenticeship.
So because they just want to get rid of Madgel and all these other guys there, and just put Benji because Benji's the face of the West Tigers.
Well, the link was with Sheens.
Everything like that. Sheens, he wanted to empower him, and he
got supposed to be Sheens package with Benji. This was the original plan. 2 years, Benji learned under Sheens while learning, like controlling the playing group on the run, and then eventually the Sheens reign got cut 9 months into a 2 year plan.
And Gus always says you should never coach first grade unless you've coached under 20s and reserve grade.
I think that's important too.
Yeah, it's very important because you understand the team dynamics, you understand schedules, you understand everything. It'd be like just going to the club and then they go, mate, you're first grade coach.
Yeah. That's fair.
That would be the equivalent of me going back to 23 and then just they all get sacked and then Gus goes, "You're coach, mate." Fucking please. I just want it nearly to end. When does this end?
Not anytime soon.
Okay.
Not anytime soon.
Just going to linger until.
So here's what we'll get to, and again, I do not apologise for this at all in the sense you have strong opinions. That's what makes our podcast great. I think I really missed the mark with regards to sort of level. I had a mate call me straight after and he goes, "Fuck, is Galvin going to the Dogs?" Like one of my good friends. Like he watched the podcast. Thinks, off the back of our chat, I had a really good friend and he was like, "Mate, it's lucky Galvin going to Dogs." I said, "No, I don't think it is." I said the big fella was just fired up, and off the back of it, like it did make us look biased towards Galvin and Moses, or at least sympathise towards Galvin.
Sort of sympathise towards. I don't even care about Isaac Moses.
Well, I want to get to that after this, right? And it being anti-Tigers. Yeah. Here's my thing. Here's my take on Isaac Moses. Like I said, I've known Isaac for years. Yeah. He's always been good to me. If he had if I had a friend or family, and this is just purely on the way, the rumours and the way, in my opinion, he's handled situations that I've seen that might not be completely true, but he's got a track record, right? I would not advise a friend or family, and I've been in that situation before because we've been in footy for years where you'd go, I would not advise a player or a young player to go to him. That's just my opinion. And I've done that before. So for people to think that I would ever be influenced or we would be influenced by Isaac is completely false. And Like, that's my sort of take on it. Like, the part where it's like we are being viewed as pro Isaac Moses is completely just not who I want to be at all.
Come on. All we are giving is our opinion, and that's it. You've got your opinion, I've got mine, Lukey's got his, and then everyone else has their own opinion, which I don't give a fuck about. I don't care what you think anyway. This is our show, and this is what I think about this whole situation. Isaac Moses just happens to be Galvin's manager. And he's done a lot of bullshit in this game. And I know he has. Personally, to me, nothing. Right?
Same.
Don't hate the bloke. Don't care. You know what I mean? But when I talk to our former teammates and everything like that, I talk to some GMs at clubs, they put him as one of the worst fucking people ever to be involved in the NRL. That's how fucking bad they feel about that man. Nick Politis won't even fucking deal with him. Won't deal with him. So if you think he's going to go to the Roosters, Nick will have to retire from the chairman's lounge.
Yeah, there you go.
Owning the club.
Now I think it's important that we make that clear, that we don't go over the top and completely slander his name.
I'm just saying, but that's his reputation. He's been deregistered twice from the league.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things here. So I read a couple of comments. Don't you fucking dare put me saying I'm influenced by fucking anyone.
I'm
influenced by anyone apart in this game, apart from like Wayne Bennett, Gus Gould, Ricky Stewart, and Craig Bellamy, and maybe Volandis on the side.
Let me ask you this, and this is a question for us as well. Volandis is very influential.
They influenced me. That's it. Because I talk to those guys.
No, but here's my thing on this: are we that influential as a podcast? For people to think we're important enough to change narratives that will matter. That's what I was like. I'm sitting on this over the weekend, and like me and Lukey, we've got the Levels podcast, so we're getting DMs, not only the comment section.
That's the one I try and DM sometimes. I thought it's our group chat, and I just keep getting the automated fucking thanks for your opinion. It fucking what? Yeah, go. Sorry.
So we're getting messages, and at first I'm like, oh, look. Do I need to just respond? Not in the sense where it's like argue against your points or whatever it may be, but then I sat back for a couple of days going, fuck, this is all over the top. Man. Like when we're a fucking podcast, like some of the people carrying on like our opinions matter more. We come on here. We talk a little bit of shit, we talk a bit of footy, and we speak. Very rarely do we speak on, rumour mill stuff like this. Now, where I think, obviously people were frustrated, and this is why I don't take too much notice of it, is you could tell a lot of the messages were of people who don't really follow our podcast, that are just following the story, that are going around trying to get a reaction. One of the biggest ones that I hate is of an unsubscribed on shit like that.
Thank God.
Cancer cultural, like who gives a shit? Like no likes, like no one cares. Do we want people to subscribe and follow us because you enjoy our content? Yes. Are you going to throw me off a decision and a take because you tell me you're unsubscribed?
Please unsubscribe. A lot of you. If you fucking want to get on there and talk shit, unsubscribe. Fucking love it.
But here's now, to finish off that, I think we've probably got more, not that we're as influential, like not to say we're big dogs, but we have a huge audience, Mace. And that's what I want. The one thing I've taken out of it is that people really care, more importantly, about what you've got to say on a lot of things. You're very polarizing.
Yeah.
You're very opinionated. So your takes do hold a lot more weight than I think we all give ourselves credit for. And that's the silver lining in this for us as well. Like maybe, not that we've got to be careful, but understand that people, and because there are a lot of messages and there are shit ones, like I mentioned before, but there are a lot of messages, and this is...
Most are good.
Yeah, most, and a couple were like this: love the show, love Triple IG, think he missed on this one.
Because some people don't look at it diplomatically, right? They only look at it on their way, right? They don't look at it on the other side, where I look at both sides, right? That's the way I always look at things, especially with divisive things like this. I could have come in here and just go bang, 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 bang. I'm a senior player, former player, I would have done this, this, and this. I don't think like that with little things and a 19-year-old kid in the firing line. I don't think like that. I think of the other side. I think of all the little nuances and what's happening on the side and everything like that. That's how I think when it's a big discussion like that. I don't just come in here all guns blazing, just trying to fucking bang, bang, bang. Galvin's wrong, he's greedy, he's this, he's that. No way. There's more to it than that. So have a fucking brain, some ears, and think about the whole situation. It's a lot more there's a lot more layers to unravel than just what the media is putting out there. Right?
On both sides.
On both sides.
Correct.
So think about it. Don't be so stupid and just think of your opinion and that's all that matters. Think about the whole thing, right? That's what I do. I sit there and I can see a bit of this, I can see a little bit of that. I sympathise with Benji and I sympathise with Luai and Galvin, all these kind of things. Isaac Moses is the coach, the manager. I get it all, right? And then I try and summarise it all and put it into my head and then get it out, right? That's it. I don't come out here and just go fucking bang, 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 bang. There's some things that I get real passionate about because that's just footy. That's
footy. Life. That's you.
Life.
That's your personality.
That's me. But when it comes to a young kid like this who's in the firing line because it's been fucking handled like a bush league, that's what pisses me off. Yeah,
I think that's the biggest take from me off the back of it as well. Despite like what I said, and there were parts where we were talking about Isaac's handling this and how he's done this before. Let me be clear. I think Isaac has handled this terribly.
Yes.
I think he's handled this situation, and I think he is a huge part of why Lockie is currently in the situation that he's at. Now, do I agree that Lockie had to have had some part in it and take accountability for his side of it and for parts of it? I think, and this is to clarify what we were talking about and probably in a better way. If Lockie doesn't think Benji is the coach that can best develop him, that's his prerogative, and that's what I want to get clear as well.
That's what people can't understand. We're looking at we're going. Okay, let's look what I'm picking up. What Galvin's putting down. I'm not getting developed X, Y, and Z. I'm like, he doesn't like the coaching. He doesn't like the system. He doesn't like this shit. This is easy to put up. This is not Galvin wanting money. You just offered him $6 million. He doesn't want money. He wants to be developed. He wants to be great. He wants to be in a great club. There's a lot of shit that's going on in West Tigers in the last 10 to 15 years, and it fucking hasn't stopped just because they've won 3 games.
Well, this is where I guess I could have been more balanced with it, and this is where I think a lot of people are angry at us talking about the Tigers. I think a lot of people and fans would agree that the Tigers have been a shit fight for 10 plus years. Yeah. And I think there are signs that are evident that the Tigers are starting to make some good moves. And that's where I missed the jump on it on Thursday as well. Shane Richardson is a proven administrator. He's done a great job at the Panthers before. He's done a great job.
Great GM, great CEO / whatever. He's just semi sort of Gus, huh?
Yep. Probably not Gus's level, but
he's Timu Gus.
He's Timu Gus.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he's done a good job. I think Benji is doing a good job with this playing group, and this is where the silver line is. I think this is, like I said, Lockie galvanising. So there are signs when you watch the Tigers this year where, referring to your Dogs, where they were poor for a large portion from 16 on to about even 23.
7, 8 years.
They went through a rough period. Then they had started to improve last year, and now you can see clearly we were both at the game on weekend, 65,000. The fan base, the club are trending, and they're arguably the team to beat, which we'll get to in a bit. People can see signs of that at the Tigers. That's where I think maybe it was a little bit, I wasn't balanced enough to at least identify that as...
I'll even go back a little bit further.
Even though, let me finish this last bit. Even though I can understand that Lockie Galvin may not see that the way that I see it from an outsider looking in, and maybe fans can.
Yep.
Do you got something?
Can I add a little bit of fan perspective to your point there? We've got Lockie going on that show with Joey and stuff on Channel 9.
How'd you go
talking about...
That was last year.
Yeah, last year. Talking about these are the things I'm looking for when Jerome comes in, where he's so exciting. He's like, can't wait to play. And then it gets to this point. I think that's where the fans are like, you said you were going to wait and see what you think when they all come in, and this is how you reacted.
Yeah. I just want to rewind a little bit, just go back to the Tigers of the Tedesco and Moses thing.
Yep.
It reeks of that as well. Stefano and Galvin gone. Teddy and fucking... Jesus Christ.
Teddy
and
Moses
going.
and Woodsy.
and
Woodsy
Do you know
left
what
and
I
went
mean?
to
Like,
the thing, yeah.
the exodus from those three players when they were really going good. Like, I'm like, there's something wrong with the Tigers' infrastructure, and something wrong with their development pathways, whatever it is, CEOs, there's something up with it. So that happened, 2017? 2016, 17, I think happened with Teddy.
Yeah. What's the common denominator, though, from that time?
Is it
Isaac Moses?
It's something to do
Isaac
with-
Moses is
Isaac
still-
Moses.
correct.
It's the coaching. It's the hatred between these. It just doesn't go, and it's awful. It goes back to like every single time the Tigers look like they're making a bit of a run, right?
Yep.
They get ripped apart again.
This is why I can understand the frustration
That's
from
why
the Tigers
I can
fans. Just quickly,
100%
just let me finish. Let me finish. this.
Understand totally.
Yeah. So with Isaac Moses, he's the common denominator. He, I believe, managed all three of those at the time. Now, I don't think he manages Teddy anymore. I believe
No,
that's
'cause he went
Joe
to the-
Weeby.
yeah.
Yep, who they had a split.
Because of that.
Yep, so they had a split. And this is where I think the NRL will look at it moving forward, because for whatever reason, I don't know how the relationship begins where Isaac somehow has these players at the Tigers, I don't know whether he puts them in the Tigers to begin with, they develop, or they have successful starts to their career, and then for whatever reason, they're off. They've moved off. Now, there are also, again, and now that we've made it, I think it's clear that I have no interest. Like, I do not have Isaac's best interest at heart. I'm trying to call it exactly how I see it. There have been examples of guys like Isaac managing. David Clemmer has been shown the door. John Bateman has been shown the door. So there is always two sides of it. Here's the thing I'd do if I was the Tigers. I'd do the Nick Politis. I'd stop dealing with him. And this is why, and this is what we said about
Big
the point.
time.
This is the point that we had that probably got a little bit lost later on. The really interesting one moving forward is Dream Buller. Like, what happens with Dream Buller? I think Dream Buller is, and not to say that Lockie isn't, but it looks like it at the moment, that things aren't great between him and the rest of the playing group. I think, for me, watching that documentary, Jerome Buller looks like he is beloved at that club. Benji's obviously got a high opinion of him. And I've got some details around the contract situation going forward. Actually, let's get to that. I'll get to it, because this one comes from Aiden Seng, and there were so many messages on Instagram. I've only got a couple this week that we'll address, and then we've got a shortened week, and we'll be back on Wednesday, and I'll get to some more. But Aiden Seng said this: Lachlan Galvin is currently on 350,000. Appy Carousel is on, so he's on 250 this year, I believe, 350 next year.
Disgusting.
So that's a huge factor. That is 100% a huge factor.
Yeah, keep going.
This is, in my opinion, that's why this divide is 100% happening.
Got to be.
Appy Carousel is on 700K, and they are both contracted until 2026.
Appy's got to be more than that.
Well,
I reckon.
so this is the point. I'll finish this off quickly, and then we can discuss it. Jerome Luai is reportedly on 1.2. Jerome Buller is reportedly on 700K. They have player options in their contracts. Luai's is in favour of his, and Buller is mutual from 2027. So basically, most of the Tigers' spine is off contract at 2027. If this is before all this mess, I feel like Galvin. This is his comment as well from Aiden. I feel like Galvin is helping the Tigers move forward, as you can't keep them all. And then he writes, Mace, blink twice if Galvin is coming to the Dogs. All right, so here's my bit on that. And this is what I said, where there's been a silver lining. The support and people rallying behind Benji. But also, I agree. I don't think they can keep Jerome, Buller and Uppy. Now, I think Uppy's still got...
He's going to be 33.
I think Uppy's still got 2 good years left in him, so he would be a priority signing.
Are they going to keep Buller before Appy? I know that.
100%.
Yeah,
Buller's...
But I'm just saying the age, like, how old
is a factor.
How old's Appy?
Look it up
He's
for us, please,
Fijian.
Lookie, while we
He's
get to
Fijian. He could be 25 or he could be 21.
But they
or he could be 31.
But Stanley Gane for Papua New Guineans and Kumals and Fijians can play to their 45.
I know.
32.
32. All right, so here's the...
Two. He ain't no half, you know.
Let's just
33
say
next season.
Let's just say Lockie is a foregone conclusion. He's gone. He's going to play somewhere else. Most likely.
You fucking hope.
Congratulations, Lukey. It looks like you've got him at the Parramatta Eels.
No way.
Jerome Luai would be priority 1 in fixing that contract and getting him locked in. Now, he also said he handled the question. I think it was Ricky I asked him. He goes, brought up his player options. And he goes, I think he said.
They should not have put him out.
Hey?
They should not have put Dream Buller out there.
No, sorry. Did I say Jerome Buller?
Yeah.
Sorry, I meant Jerome Luai.
Yeah, okay.
Apologies. Jerome Luai. Ricky asked Jerome Luai about his player options. And he goes, I'll let my actions do the talking, and the way that I've been performing for the club says a lot about where I am right now, which is the perfect answer. It didn't answer it, but it's the perfect answer. All right, now it is the Tigers, after all this mess, Lockie moves on. He's going to move on whether they dig their heels in or there's something that comes up in the next month or whatever it may be. But let's lock in Jerome's contract, because this is the perfect time to lock Jerome in right now. Get all that concrete. That's what I would be doing. That would be priority one. Next one is taking those mutual options out of Jerome's contract and sorting out the situation with Isaac Moses. Now, that's going to be tough.
I think that the number one thing that they need to do is sort out Isaac Moses, and they need to go the Roosters route.
I think they should.
That's it. If he's done this to this club
too many times
to future Hall of Fame players.
Therefore, Buller's gone. Wouldn't you say?
No, I don't think Buller's going to be. I don't know.
Well, to our point from Thursday, unless the playing group, unless Buller has a change of mind, and actually, I've got some. I'll wait. I've got some.
He's going to be hot property.
I've got some knowledge on the situation around Isaac.
I'm just saying, he's going to be some hot property. Dream Buller's going to be some hot property in 2 years, right? He's developing very nice at the moment, and then he'll cross that bridge. He will not be even talking about contracts or anything like that in the next year. Just let his footy do the talking this year, next year, and talk about it in 2027, right? He'll be 23.
All right, and let's get to the latest bit. Now, this broke yesterday as well. So this is the dramatic trap dump. This is where we've been sympathetic towards Lockie Galvin. Right, so Lockie Galvin saga has been added with the Playmakers management reportedly sending the West Tigers a legal letter which alleges Galvin has been bullied by the club. According to Code Sports, Galvin's team believes their client has not been provided with a safe work environment since the news dropped last Monday that the 19-year-old won't sign an extension with the club. Got to be really careful with this, Mace.
Yeah, I'm fucking not even going to probably say that much.
Yeah. Here's what
I just want to know more. I just want to know a little bit of context and what this bullying is and what the Tigers have done to him at the moment, so Moses can go with his action.
All right, so if I'm Isaac Moses, and you're looking at this $250,000 contract, $350,000 contract. Not to say that Lockie hasn't been bullied, but if you were going to use examples, the one that stands out the most is the story around him addressing the playing group, and then that wasn't handled well. Now, we don't know what happened within that meeting, but Jerome said that was an in-house meeting, and the reports are it wasn't taken well by the playing group. Now, can you consider that bullying? Who knows? We'll find out. There's going to be more to this that we'll probably get more information. The second part is the social media posts, and we talked about this, about it being more common in this day and age than it was during our time. I've got absolutely no problem with Jerome's post in Team First.
I think with Taruva's.
Taruva's was out of line. Now, is it bullying?
No. That's not bullying. That's just I don't know.
It's just dumb.
It was stupid.
It's just dumb.
Dude, you've been there for 6 months.
And no, but also with Taruva, it's how do I best put this?
Should not.
Naive is the word.
Maybe not naive. Like the part around it being close friends, it's just if you are, and not to say that you bully someone creatively, but at least the message was clear and it wasn't directly targeting Lachlan.
Whereas what Luai's was just Team First.
Luai's Team First.
Luai's Team, and his was like two close friends, but obviously fucking screenshot, blah blah blah. Was it Lachlan's?
With money bags on.
It. Like you just, dude, you left the Penrith Panthers for more money.
That's so.
You know what I mean? Like, just be smart with a lot of things, bro. Come on, man.
Yeah, whether whatever you've done in your contract negotiations, it doesn't vindicate what
that was dumb. I looked at that and went, come on, man.
That was the biggest one. If I'm going back to it and you're trying to get, if this is the master plan and you're going to go through this to get Lockie out of this contract, then that would be, I think, the core of it. That the argument against Lockie and the bullying.
Doesn't feel safe. Doesn't feel welcome back there. And that's all. Would you feel welcomed if you were Lockie Galvin right now? You got to play today. I'm not sure if he played today. Like, what is he? Is he playing today?
What do you reckon? Do you reckon he'll play today? I hope he plays today.
No, he'll play. He's going to be playing at Lidcombe.
It's on today, 12 o'clock.
Is it today? So I'm like, would you, after all this, right? Would you feel welcomed at the Tigers training on Wednesday?
I don't think that matters.
What do you mean it matters? Is he going to turn up? Does he feel welcome? Does he want to be there? Like it's like
I've been involved with situations for
like
sure. The one that
this?
stands at pretty close.
Which what,
But I just think we didn't go through it in the social media.
I was there. You know
Well,
what I
this
mean?
is
I'm
no,
like,
this is before you arrived. Before you arrived.
The 13, 14 one.
13, 14, yeah. So this,
okay,
but the difference was
totally
we didn't have senior players posting about him on social media.
Yes.
But the rumours were just as
I get it.
Yeah, but is it? But if there's a legal letter to the club saying that you feel like you've been bullied by everyone, that's a hard.
And it
environment
doesn't
to walk
matter
into.
if
depends if he feels like that. That's the point.
But regardless of how Galvin feels, it says that he's feeling that way because of Isaac Moses has put this shit out there. He feels bullied, so everybody's going. He's fucking talked to Moses saying, "I feel bullied." I don't, like this is what the mentality of football players are like. You're soft, you're this, you're that, fucking all this. Fuck him off out of the club. I know exactly how I'd be rolling if I was at the club. If a little fella, like little 19-year-old like that was acting up, be fucking different.
If you're an employee and the letter comes from you to your boss, that's the core of it. Regardless if you got a lawyer or not.
That's a good shout.
That comes from you.
So I said this last.
So this is different with the manager petitioning on your behalf.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Be filthy. But would Galvin have to green light that for that to go on?
That's my point. So
okay. Well, then if he's done that, that is in a whole nother layer of the players looking at him sideways going, you don't even want to be here. You think we bullied you? You know what I mean? I think I look at it like this, and this is how it should be handled. Benji should be like, okay, you come in, get the whole, I said it last week, get the leadership group around and have a talk face to face and get all this shit off your chest and see if we can salvage something to the end of the year, or do you want to go now, kid?
Going back to your point there, just with the senior playing group, I think Jerome and Appy are smart enough, and this is another part that I took out of the presser. They know that it's not completely Lockie. I think they understand that Lockie is definitely on board with potentially trying to leave, but I think the way that it's been handled, I think they understand, and therefore I don't think they would be as brutal to Lockie as the way it's been perceived.
Yeah, I think when they all sit down and just talk to Lockie as a human, don't get the papers, get the social media shit out. Just say if they all come in and I shouldn't have put that out. I'm sorry, emotions were high. Sorry, mate. I love you, kid. All right. What do you think? What do you think? We all in this. Shake hands and we fucking get along with it. We fucking proper galvanise. Pardon the fucking pun, but it's just a Galvin. That's what
it works well.
Siege mentality, everything like that. Lock in for 1 year, mate, and then you can fuck off next year.
Yep.
Right. I think that's what should happen. As grown men, don't let it play out in the media. Right. I'd hope to God that Benji would have the leadership and the fucking mental fortitude to put something like that together. Get all these men around. No fucking CEOs and GMs and anything like that. Head coach, leadership group. Galvin.
I like it.
That's it, and get it. And then if you're not getting the right answers, Galvin won't be in first grade. You know, and then you want to say something. Anyone in the that whole leadership group, get it off your chest. Him, have it all out. That's what you do as grown men. These guys are grown men. They're young kids. They're young men. But that's how you deal with shit. Do not deal with it on these phones because you give a platform for the rest of the fucking world to have their little 2 cents, which doesn't fucking matter. But it does because everyone reads these fucking comments, right? So just sit down and like grown men.
Do you know you've got your alarm on too, by the way?
Are you fasting?
I'm fasting, yeah.
Oh, yeah, nice.
So when they do that, that's when it'll settle down. Other than that, just keep playing out in the media.
So here's the thing, and I agree with everything that you said.
No.
You just said, but it's not the world we live in.
No.
They can have that chat, do everything right in house, and there's still going to be leaks and there's still going to be rumours because that's the media. So I hope they still do. For everything you just said, I hope they're able to do that.
Okay.
I hope this is what I hope happens today. Lachlan Galvin plays at 12 p.m. at Lidcombe, kills it, dominates, enjoys his time back in the New South Wales Cup. There is going to be people there watching just because of the situation, but nowhere near as much pressure as playing first grade. First grade go and have a strong performance, but unfortunately lose to the Parramatta Eels. There you go, Licky. And they have a chat on Tuesday or Wednesday. and they get Lockie in with Benji, Uppy, Jerome, who else? Alex Twelve, Seyfarth, whoever may be. I don't know if Terrell May is part of the senior playing group, but get them in there and go, look, this has got ugly. No matter if the main thing is the main thing, and that's winning football games for this club right now. Let's go win games. Lockie, if you rip in and show that this is not affecting you and you can, I guess...
Put it behind you.
Put it behind you, but play with the maturity of not a 19-year-old in this situation, which is going to be really tough, then we would welcome you back into the team when the time is right.
Well, when you said, we live in that could get out, right? Like those words need to be said. Look, this doesn't leave this room. Right? I understand a lot of people talk, but you're probably going to have 5 people in there, and if it does leave the room, and all of a sudden the Telegraph get a hold of it, or Fox Sports, or anything like that,
then you know there's a leak.
There's a fucking leak in there, and you're getting rid of someone. Yeah. Right? And you can
here's the thing.
And you could probably tell who it's going to be.
Correct.
Right? So all the players that are involved, the leadership group plus Benji, then you've got Galvin, then it gets out.
It's going to come from one side, isn't it?
And it's to whatever the connection that Isaac Moses has with the media. Then there's a fucking big problem.
That's true.
That is a really big problem. So I think all the rest of these guys will be on the same page. I don't think it'll get out of these 4 walls. And if it does, there's a problem.
That's it. We able to just put a bow on that for now?
Well, this episode will come out after all that happens. Yeah, so we're going to launch this after kick-off full-time tonight. So people can tune in.
All right.
Good luck. Para.
Hope you enjoyed that. Hope
go Para.
Let's move on.
Really drive a fucking... There's 2 teams there that I really fucking dislike anyway.
That was the most interesting part at the end. And when I was piecing some stuff together in my head, he was that off the Tigers that he picked the Eels at the end of the show.
Yeah, exactly. There's 2 teams in my career. I just fucking despise both these clubs. Good. I'm glad it's happening to them. Nah, I'm joking. We all go through our heads.
All right. Mate. We've got a big announcement.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
We have a big announcement. We have teamed up with Wanderers Australia, Mace.
Yeah.
And we are going to be doing or hosting an Ashes tour for 2025.
How fucking good.
Can we announce that the clip that we watched, is that going to be posted today
as well?
Okay, so people already seen that by the time this comes out? Potentially. I'm excited for this, mate. Yeah. We did a little teaser. Shout out to Lukey with the teaser of Doom.
I thought it was me, and I thought we were at a bar.
Do you know it ended up on the Wakey Trinity page?
Yeah. Did it? Why haven't I got a whole KR jersey?
So, Mace, you are part of the last group to tour as a playing group. Yep. We are going back on this Rennie Matua as the host. We're going to be doing some great things. I've seen the itinerary. It looks unreal. So shout out to Wanderers who have done a number of tours like this. Yep. Most notably, they were a part of the touring group that used to look after the Barmy Army when they would travel. So they got the runs on the board. They know how to control the group, and we had some good conversations. We just got some of the details around both hosts, big pictures of our lemon spreads. Have a look at that. Everyone can probably see it. Look at those. You can see it all the way back there. Can you see it? have a look at those lemon spreads. So Willie Mason, of course, Kangaroos legend, last tour, 2023 Ashes. Yeah. We watched that back. 24 tests for Australia, Clive Churchill Medal, and 2004 Premiership. Yep. Then you've got over 100 games of NRL experience with the Skipper Scope. But he's also a Wakefield and Catalans legend in the UK. So who else better to take you on a trip through the north of England?
I don't think there's anyone better. You know what I mean? I think you've played there, you've lived there. I've lived there for 6 weeks.
Yep.
In Hull, 10 weeks actually. But I love the north of England. I've had 4 kangaroo tours over there and had the best time of my life. It was fucking so fun. We ended up winning the Ashes over there. As I said, we went through those games before. Easily could have lost. They were tough games. Or nothing but respect for the English, the Great Britain side. It was so fun. And imagine going with us. I've lived it. I've played on those grounds, and we've won out there. We'll get a lot of access to areas where no one's really going to get to go.
Well, here's one cool part of it that I'm really excited to, just as a fan of the game. We'll be going to Huddersfield, 1908, where the game began. We'll be doing a tour there. We'll be doing tours on the Lancashire side, which for those who aren't familiar is the Wigan, Warrington, St Helens side. And then for those who are not familiar, the Yorkshire side is the Leeds and the Bradfords of the world, the Wakefields, the Castlefords.
The Sam Burgesses.
So I had a good friend of mine reach out, Mark Flanagan, the Flash. Legend, absolute legend of a human, good friends with the Burgess boys who I met over there. He wants to be involved. He wants to show us the ropes.
I spoke to a couple of guys that I know, my little hitting union over there.
Yep.
They run fucking a lot of shit in Manchester, London, because the first game's in Wembley.
Yep.
Oh my God. Boys, look out.
Here we go. All right, so
we're going to be looked after.
You got the package details?
We're going to be looked after.
All right, let's get to the package details. Now, there is a package for all 3 games, which will be Wembley Stadium, kicking it off. Then we'll go to Everton. Maybe we'll sneak in a little Liverpool game while we're up at Everton, Lukey.
Definitely try to do that.
And Headingley Leeds for the final. Cool. So you get the 3 test package that starts on October 22nd and will finish on November 10th, 11th. That's the package for that one.
And do you have the price?
No.
The price, $7,995.
$7,995.
It's one of the most competitively priced packages
That's good.
you can get.
Okay, hold off on the prices just because I'm going to explain the price and then the system in which you can pay as well. We'll get them at the end.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so if you only want to be involved in 2 tests, then there's a package for the first 2 games, which is the 22nd of October to the 4th of November. That is Wembley Stadium and Everton Stadium package. And then you've got the 2nd and 3rd tests, Everton Stadium into Headingley Leeds for what I believe will be a decider.
Yeah.
I really think there's going to be a decider at Headingley in this one. And that is from the 30th of October to November 11th. Now, Lukey, you mentioned the price for all 3 tests. Can you go again, please?
Yeah, so all 3 starts from $7,995.
$7,995. That's all 3 tests, accommodation, everything else is ticked off in there. Flights, all of that's a part of it. And here's the best part about it. You can get up to 12 months interest-free for your tour costs with financing through Travel Pay. So this is the same as any other afterpay where you can play. You don't have to pay the full amount in one go.
Either way, you pay in installments, or you can put Travel Now and you get 0 between 6 and 12 months interest free.
Interest free, that's huge. So you can chip away at it throughout the year, put it into a package, and we're excited to be.
It'd be exciting
heading over there.
I reckon we'll have like a couple hundred traveling with us. Imagine being on an Ashes tour with Willie Mason.
It would be so fun. Like just in the north of England at that time. Like I've obviously been a player up there, and there was some tours going on there. I remember when I tell you that story when Mal Meninga sat me down and we drank 20 pints.
Yeah,
before.
that's a good
I was
one.
just like, oh, you're killing me, mate. I was only 23 there. You get to see the players. Usually, I'm not sure where we're going to be staying. It's not too far from the players. We'll get to watch their training sessions. We'll get a lot of access to the players, and I've still got a lot of connections within the Aussie team. Tristan Hayes, he's the media manager who runs a lot of stuff for the Kangaroos. He's one of the best humans you'll ever meet. He'll get us access to it, to a lot of things, mate.
Look, so for some of the packages that maybe you're not aware of.
And all the packages, it will be different, obviously.
For some of the information that maybe you're not privy to, because me and Luke have been chatting to him about it. So game day experience, big piss up, the night before, big piss up after, a couple of rest days. We're going to be playing some golf while we're over there as well, or just have some days off. If you just want to have a couple of days off and just, I'm telling you, if you get stuck smashing 10 pints of Guinness with Mace, he will do a number on you. So, be ready for that. You are going to need those rest days, and I can speak from experience on that.
Yeah.
We're really looking forward to it. All right, so to be a part of this, Mace, this is going to be awesome. Lukey will put the link in bio, and that link is ashesrl.com.au. So go and jump on, have a look at the packages. Do you want to do 3? Do you want to do the split 2s? And look into the Travel Pay interest-free, up to 12 months, which can really help you pay this off as you go. All right, let's get into our Red Bull OG Bull of this week, Mace. And
yes,
the reason I love this one is we talked about it on Thursday. You almost called this player out in order to step up, and Jeezy did.
I love it, mate. He's a goer, isn't he? I mean, playing against Brisbane over there, they played the best wet weather game I've seen for a while. Mitch Barnett, right? He just went at it. Like, you got Carrigan there, and you got Payne Haas was like, he was running like a fucking crazy man. Mitch Barnett did not have much help. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't have his boy Fish Harris. He did have help because they played some really good football. Who's the lock there? I forget.
Aaron Clark
had a good game.
Yep.
He had a real tough game.
Jackson Ford was good as well.
Jackson Ford was good, but Mitch Barnett knew he was the leader.
Well, here's the thing to your point. Yes, he had help in terms of like the forward pack to help him out, but he didn't have the echelon of star power.
Yeah, exactly. But they lifted
Broncos.
for him. They lifted it because they watched Mitchy Barnett go out there, take the first couple of licks, hit blokes, go after Payne Haas, go after Carrigan, and they're like, "Fuck, all right, we're in this, because I didn't back him to win the game.
No, either did I.
You know, so Mitch Barnett, I think he ran like off the top of their head. I think he put 60 minutes. I think.
Yep.
Probably about 160 meters, like 40 tackles.
Sounds about right.
Hardly ever missed, no misses, but just those runs when it's played at that stadium and on a Saturday night. When there's not much footwork, you just got to run real straight and direct or you just get pumped. And he was just running straight and direct, right in behind the play the ball. They were just, you never really see the Brisbane Pack get dominated like that.
No. Here's the thing to your point. Payne and Paddy still had really good numbers.
200 plus metres for Payne.
And
Didn't
they
look like a butt.
And they were probably the best of a bad bunch of Broncos, and we'll get to the Broncos later on. But it didn't stop Barney going after him.
No.
Like, they were getting their carries, they were getting their meters, and he was still shooting out of the line, trying to bash them the entire game.
Yeah, he went after
credit
it.
to him.
And I love seeing that. So he's my, that's Mace's OG Bull of the Week, Mitchy Barnett.
You're on a little fuss. I'll crack a can to that. That's a good shout before I get into my young buck.
I like your one. Jeez.
All right, let's get to him. Scope's young buck is Izzy Katoa of Isaiah Katoa fame from the Dolphins. Last week he played his 50th game, and me and you talked about this.
Yeah.
I don't think we talked about it on the podcast, but we talked about it maybe before we started the podcast. Jeezy's just got a good temperament about him. Like the way he carries himself, and I'm big on body language, huge on, I've said this before, presses, the way you handle your questions, the way you communicate, the way I perceive you are perceived from the playing group. And Isaiah Katoa, he just carries himself so well. Now, there's a part of me, and this is the one criticism where I said, I would love to see a little bit more out of him, like just a little bit more dog. But at 21 years old to be doing what he's doing is a real credit to the maturity, the development of both Penrith and the Dolphins to where he is right now. And you've got to give Christian Wolf a lot of credit as well, because he's now the coach and he's had him and selected him for Tonga a couple of years ago as well. So Christian Wolf's had a huge part in his development.
He's massive, mate.
First thing I did when watching this game, this is how well he's going, and I very rarely do this. Shit, when and how much is Izzy Katoa on? I got about 60 minutes into the game and got on my laptop and started looking for Isaiah Katoa. So he is signed until 2028. They re-upped him last year at March, which is, again, great awareness from the Dolphins to firstly identify his talent, but also know that he is going to only get better. And it is reported, and this is just from Reddit, that he is on 4 years, a 4-year, $2 million contract, which is $500,000 per year.
He should do a Galvin.
I do not advise him to do a Galvin.
That's not enough.
Listen, I do not advise him. Let's be clear. Can I explain something to you? Because I've got a point on that as well.
He should have more money, bud.
He should have some more money. If I am the Dolphins, I would be trying to extend Katoa for just one more year to make it a 5-year contract and re-up him in good faith to make sure that he is happy. Now, you've got to find the perfect number as well. They're trying to balance their books. They're in a little window right now where they're improving, looking really good after beating the 2 grand finalists in back-to-back weeks. So What's the middle ground? I think they've got to be somewhere from the 750 to 850 mark to make sure that he is well
Then
accounted
by
for.
the 5th year, he's on about 1.2.
And then up him because, the salary cap's going to get go up, and then there's going to be new teams that get involved. Now, if you want to be ruthless, you can be, and there will be fans of the Dolphins going, why would we do that? We've got them on a really good deal. You never take money off players when they get to a certain... Like, that's a really good argument, right? I thought about the devil's advocate of that argument. But if you really do see him and you do not want anything to happen, like you said, with the Lockley Galvin situation, I would just go, hey, Izzy, you're killing it. We want you to be a big part of the club moving forward. In good faith, let's re-up this contract. Let's give us an extra couple of years. Let's make that 2028, 2030.
Yeah.
So you're secure, you get more money, and you're happy. And then, when I Googled, because I wanted to Google the contract situation, you know how it's got popular search on Google? The next question for when you type in Isaiah Katoa's name is he available for Origin?
Yep.
That shows where people are starting to look at Isaiah Katoa right now.
I'd go one step further. He's probably the only guy that I'd give a 10-year deal to in the whole game. If you're going to give 10 years to Dill Brown, 26 years old, right?
Yep.
Everyone's going to question that deal. 21 years old.
Perfect.
21. He's going to be off at 31, right? You give him a 10-year deal and you lock that kid down. Because that's the kid that you can build a whole club around. He's a future Origin player. He's future a lot of things. Just needs to be in the right club, right development, and I think I would be sending him a 10-year deal. Don't worry about the fucking extension for 2. You know what I mean? Like he's 21 years old. He's only going to get better, and by 31 he'll be probably in his peak. So it's just like it's the only guy. It's the only guy in the whole comp that would deserve a 10-year deal in my eyes right now. Wow, that's huge, and that's a credit to him. And that's a credit to his performances. Last year Wayne dropped him. Because it's the week in, week out rigors of NRL. He's only just learning it. He's played 50 games now. Well, he's a big part of why I picked the Dolphins the last couple of weeks, Mason. You could see me. Really struggling with the decision. You're like, fucking just pick him. Because when they were playing bad, and I'm not just jumping on the bandwagon, go back and watch the podcast when we talked about him week 2 against the Knights. I said he was the reason that they kept him in it. Like I seen signs from Isaiah Katoa at the start of the year where I'm like, he's playing really good. The rest of the team are just struggling to find that cohesion at the moment. They're still struggling to just, make sure they get some nice early touches for Hammer. Herbie's looking good too.
Herbie is an animal.
Herbie's
an animal.
He's the best centre in the game. I don't think there's much better.
Stephen Crichton goes all right.
Yeah, but Crichton ain't making breaks like that. He's
different types.
Different type of players. Because he's playing left centre as well. He gets more ball.
Yeah, Critter's the reason Critter's on the right is because he solves a lot of issues.
He's a shutdown centre, and it's just he doesn't get the lion's share of the ball where he gets a lot of ball there, and he's shaking blokes one-on-one. Go
pick one. Right now, you've got to start a team from scratch. You can only have one. Farnworth or Critter.
It's all based on defence
and leadership. And not to say Herbie's not a great leader.
No, exactly.
It's a close one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's close.
You know what? For even us to have a hypothetical about that, because of the way we think of Critter right now, says a lot about how.
If I'm picking 2 Origin centres, they're my 2 Origin centres right now.
They're the 2 best centres in the comp.
Yeah, 2 Origin centres. Herbie's and remember they played last year, and I was just thinking they just cancelled each other out. Bang, bang. They're both exact same size, same sort of build, fast, strong. We got them up at Bundaberg last year, and it was just like Herbie's making breaks, Critter's making breaks, setting up tries. It was just they're fucking 2 great players. I love seeing those blokes go at it.
You know what they are? They're mongrels, mate.
The mongrels,
and that's why we love them.
Mongrels should make football boots.
They should.
Get out there.
Mongrel boots are Aussie born and bred. No matter if it's for work or play, Mongrel has a boot for you. They're designed to be comfy and they should be designing some footy boots. I agree with you, mate. Mongrel Boots manufactures premium safety and non-safety boots for you, the Aussie worker. When you clock off on a pair of K9 range, nothing but the best for you and your feet. Mongrel boots are engineered with advanced technology and built tough, including features like scuff cap protection, A tough slider sole for enhanced stability, roller sole technology, increasing comfort and safety in the air zone comfort system to reduce fatigue, ensuring comfort. Head to mongrelboots.com.au to find your favourite boot and local retailer. Mace, our boots are on the way too.
Yeah.
Had a chat to the team at Mongrel Boots. Lukey, you'll be getting your size 3s as well. They're on their way out. No, we've got to watch out. We can't be bullying these days.
Lawsuits coming
You'll
your
be
way.
on a lawsuit. Isaac Moses.
Do not get Isaac on us.
He's his new manager. He's getting that big. He needs a manager. It's Isaac Moses.
Well, we are. That's what I said before. Are we more influential than we make out? We've got to be careful with who we pick on around here.
This is all locked in for us, people. 31st of May. This is a Saturday. It's a luncheon, 12:30 to 3:30 at WYONG Leagues Club. The great Andrew Johns will be there. Willie Mason, myself will be there. We'll be talking anything from just, from Origin, some old war stories. Look, no phones or anything like that. It's not going to be fucking mental, but like a lot of knowledge in there, a lot of few good stories, few good yarns. I'm hoping, Hozzy, you'll be available to MC that night. It'll be a fun one, it'll be Saturday up there on the Central Coast. So get your tickets. The link will be in the bio, and get started from there. I'll see you there.
I love that, mate. Saturdays are my good day, so we'll have a chat about that after.
Yeah.
Ran into Joey. Joey was so for the SEN boxes, I was looking down at you on the weekend too, because I seen you down the bottom chatting to Chol Mitt and Cody Walker.
Okay, everyone, see how big Chol Mitt is?
Yeah.
Bro.
That's funny you said that.
Joey said that to me. He goes, he's as big as you. I said...
So we're up in the box. I had a good chat to Joey before and after the game too. We're just chatting about a whole bunch of things, but he's excited about that. He was asking about a few of the details around it. Saturdays are good for me, so I should be okay. We'll look at the dates, but that'll be great chat, mate. Anytime you get an opportunity to sit down with the OG,
especially Andrew Johns, mate. He's just he don't do many of these.
Yeah, so that's a good get. That's a good get. Yeah, we were I was with the SEN box. I was right next to Joey the whole time. The whole time he's in the Channel 9, and then you have the 2GB, which I got a story for around the Bulldogs after this. But because he's so not that he doesn't take it seriously, but I'm trying to be really detailed. I'm a rookie when it comes.
Joey's been doing this for 15 years.
He's a vet. He fucks around a little bit. He's not wearing shoes in the box and shit like that. And Ferg was there, and I was taking the piss out of his feet, and I was like, oh, no wonder you said that clip and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, I'm through I'm trying to call the game, and Joel Kane is the guy who controls for us, and then me and Noddy have our takes. Anyway, Sugarman went to the toilet for a little bit, and I'm through trying to control the show, and Joey's banging on the window next to me, and you know what I'm like, how bad I can be when it's like if there's two things going on at once. My missus blows up at me. Yeah. So, I found that funny. And then we seen you down the bottom. Yeah. We're talking during the break, we're talking about seeing you down the bottom. And Trell Mitt, Big Mace rolls out with his Bulldogs jersey and looks around. And Trell Mitt was just so locked in and not talking to anyone. And then as soon as he sees Big Mace, they come up and collide. Yeah. And I was like, fuck. Trell's huge, man. Because I know how big you are.
What a great game anyway. You were there, 65,000. So we did I come into the Bulldogs about probably just say 3 months ago. I said, look, we need to you need to use me more on game day, right? I just come in a couple of weeks for the year and everything like that. I said, but we've got a lot of corporates, a lot of big dogs, Red Bull, Future Form, all these sort of guys, Laundies. I said, there's got to be an experience where they're on the ground and everything like that. So I said, Matty Hill, who looks after me now, and I said, come up with an idea so we can take them down on the ground, everything like that. So it wasn't really yes or no. And I'm speaking to Aaron Warburton and Stu, the 2IC, the legend. He goes, I said, are we doing this today? I said, if we don't do this, our next home game is the Dolphins. This is no disrespect, but there won't be 50, 60,000 on deck.
Perfect day.
So we fucking rounded all these potential all the Red Bulls. So a niche little group, 15.
Yep.
I said, come down 20 minutes before warm up and go down there, and I'll show you guys. And I said, I'll show you a fucking experience because I've been watching these. I've been watching these guys in the last couple of years. The corporates just go out there and they're just fucking sitting there going, it was not an experience. They just come in and out. And I told Stu, I said, let me fucking run that. I'm built for this shit.
Can I add to it? I'm watching you from up top. Mace is that close. He's almost a part of the warm-up, right? Yeah. And he's moving and he's so animated, like he's got the hands up and he's going through shape. He's pretending like, and I can just see these fans and these sponsors that are so locked in.
Yeah.
I was having, and just behind him, this is how much of a big game it was for the Bulldogs. Yeah. So you got Mace on the field, quadruple OG. You got 360 Braithen Astor in the background floating around. 6'1 Rennie Matua.
They come down to watch it. They come down. I said, come down, boys. I'll show you. Because this was just me off the top of the head. Yeah. So we're outside. They're in. So before this, Ciro takes him into a room, closes the door. He's got everything up. They go through all the little things. They've always got a theme for the week, right?
Yep.
And it was up there. And I just went through what all these little like TBAs and, you know, team-based things and everything like that. Non-negotiables, blah, blah, blah. Head on a plate, all this sort of shit. Come in here, boys, because they've already gone out to the other room, so that door's shut, you know? So it's like, all right, come in now. So it's about 15. I said, this is what they're doing. This is the plan, Latrell and blah, 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 blah. All right, so but first of all, no phones, no recording, no nothing. Yep. This is inner sanctum. You just fucking listen to me. That's about it. So then they go out into the background where the Channel 9 is and everything like behind the post.
Yep.
That's where they go. So then we walk through the sheds, right? I said, this is where that's Critters one. That's all the backs sit together. The back line, they all sit together. Forwards, the middles are all there, so they can talk to each other. Look, there's lollies there, sugar there, Red Bulls there, fucking everything.
Sneak a couple snakes.
Everything there. Have some snakes, boys. There you go. Fucking the amount of uppers in there. There's this fucking chew like because SAS they chew this fucking chewing gum. Mm-hmm. This fucking boom, Superman straight away.
Yeah.
Fucking super hyper focused. So I had a couple of those for it. So we walk out together. So you go through the back bit, and then the cheerleaders are all there doing their little warm ups, and we walk out past Channel 9. Fucking high five Joey, give fucking Freddie a massive hug.
Seen that too.
And then the guys were like, so they're doing their warm up. And I'm just going, okay, well, this is what everyone's going through, right? So you got to explain what they're doing. You know, the backs are doing their kick catch and they've got to see the light. You know, it's a sunny day, this kind of stuff. Look at the middles are doing more contact because look at the time. It's 7 minutes to 4. These guys have got to go to fucking war in 7 minutes. So they've got to go. They've got to hit each other. They've got to be fucking underhooks, run through pads at it. Because in your head, in my head, that run is my first fucking run. In 3 or 4 minutes, it gets closer. I said, watch it ramp up. The lateral hands into that, no drop balls, all communication. So they're all watching this going, one guy goes, God, it's intense. I said, this game's not for fucking pussies, mate. Anyway, just look straight. I said, then they did all these other things. Then the middles go against the middles, bang, hitting each other. 2 on the ball. I said, look, one will hit the ball, one will hit the ribs, and then one will just hit the legs, and that's just contact, and that's what it is. But then obviously that ramps up 1,000. Then we moved back because we were so close. Then the pads were there. There were about 5.
He was honestly so close.
Five pads, and then there'll be like 5 hits. And I said, this will be the last hit before they go inside, right? So we're standing like, you know, fucking 4 meters, right?
I wish I had you in the thing.
4 meters,
but you can imagine what
and I said, watch this fucking hit. Watch this. This is the middles. I said, this is how you set the fucking standard. Bang, and the hits were huge. Like every hit, 2 left, 2 right, 2 left, 2 right. So they all went through their hit. They all come in there, fucking to say whatever they're going to do. Then they walk inside. So this is where the fucking kicker comes in. They go in. We follow them a little bit. Then they go into their shed, the proper shed. We go to the left, and then they come out a door there, and then they go towards where you're walking out. I said, boys, come back here. Come back here with me. Come back here with me. So you can look in the mirror there and see what they're doing, because there's a camera in there, and they're all got their hands in together. Critters talking, Kicks is talking. Everyone's getting fucking rent because the coaches and that are already gone. Right, so it's just the playing group. So they're seeing it because you can see it on the fucking TV there, because this fucking door is, you can't see through that.
The inner sanctum.
The inner sanctum. So they're sitting there going that, and then they open the fucking door. Critter walks out. Kicks is there. I said, look at this shit. This is it. And then they follow. Then they follow. And they're fucking yahooing, and we got to follow them.
How good was the entrance?
Yeah, but we followed him. So I've got 15 of these blokes behind me, right? And I'm fucking behind the 17 players, moving the fucking docks out of the way. Get out of the way. Move, fucking fucking water boys, move out of the way, hurry, come on boys, hurry up. So we walk out into right until they run out.
Yeah.
And then everyone's behind me, and then so they got to that level, bang. And then the all fucking crowd just went ballistic, and then I just turned around, they're all filming and shit. I said, all right, that's fucking done. Let's run back up upstairs so we can watch the fucking kickoff.
Fuck.
It was mental. Like they said, it was like, and I just made this shit up. But before it, I had to go get serious because
Now you've got a plan though, moving forward.
Got a plan moving forward. It's just an experience, a Willie Mason experience for the
Does
game
that sound
day.
right?
Yeah. And then because I went and asked Ciro, because Ciro fucking hates that.
Yeah.
I said, Ciro, I'm going to do this thing with a couple of our corporates, and you won't see me, it'll be invisible, right? Like when before the game, before in the sheds.
You were close, but you weren't affecting anything
it wasn't
that they were
affecting
doing.
anything, nothing.
Yeah.
I know the distances and everything. I just went, he goes, only because it's you. I said, all right, you won't see me. I totally understand. And I said, now we can do that probably most home games.
That's awesome, mate. That's a great concept.
Yeah, it was a really good concept because I think you could really, they did everything but run out. And I said, they were shitting themselves. I said, yeah. I said, this is round 7. This is not fucking Origin. This is not Australia. This is not that level. Do you know what I mean? I said, it gets fucking ramps up.
Sounds like they did everything but dogs on 3.
Yeah, fucking oath. And they saw the dogs on 3.
Dude, you should do, that's the next part. That's the progression.
God.
You got to go fucking stand there, dogs on 3, and then they fucking...
But it was a fucking experience. It was great. And the feedback from it, and I'm like to Stu, because Stu filmed it all. And I said, fuck, was it all right? He goes, fuck, mate. Off its head.
Looked awesome.
Great, yeah.
And for a guy that's been involved in and knows what it's like to do warm-ups and know how the inner sanctum works. And when I was watching, I was like, that looks like a fucking really good experience.
It was pretty cool.
All right, let's get to some footy, eh?
Yeah, man.
All right, the Dragons 20 defeating the Sea Eagles 18. This game, again, feels like it was so long ago because of Thursday night. Shout out to Toby Couchman.
Couch.
He goes 60 minutes with 12 for 150. But how about this? 56 tackles and 1 miss.
What?
Every week he gets better. The game is also shifting to players like him and Max King, in my opinion.
Man, he's a bit thinner than Max King.
He's got a bit of Aiden Tolman about him, is my player comp.
He's a bit taller, Couchman.
Little bit, not by a heap.
Okay.
I reckon, Aiden Tolman used to live close to us when I lived in Cronulla, and I used to run into him. I reckon
Tolman's a little bit taller than you think.
I think Tolman's about 6'1", 6'2", and I think Couchman's my height, 6'3".
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yep.
Way taller than Rennie. Just way taller than Rennie.
Way taller than Rennie.
That's what you should have just put in. It's just way taller.
Both of them would be around 100 kilos, I reckon. 105 max. Max.
Yeah.
And just really good workers, like rock solid. I reckon that's a huge compliment. Tolman was a 300 gamer.
Tolman's a fucking...
He never played for Australia or Origin.
He played in an era where there was just gun front rollers, and he just wasn't that top echelon, but he'd do a job, mate. He was fucking...
300 games.
Yeah.
He won a comp at Melbourne, then played in a couple where
and a good
Bulldogs.
human too, real good human.
Legend. But Couchman, with him, Dylan Egan, Hamish Stewart, his brother Ryan Couchman, Loco Pacifici Tonga, he's been thereabouts.
Because the Couch has been around for about 2 or 3 years. I've been talking about it. I think I remember watching him, just say 2022, and he was going through the flag system.
Yep.
And there was 2 brothers. I was like, they're fucking decent.
Toby got 2 or 3 games at the end of 2023, full season last year, and now he looks like a legit first grader.
Legit.
Yep. Shout out to Sloaney. I reckon he's been really good this year, and we haven't really talked about him enough. And the main part that I love, and we envisioned this when Gutho arrived. Tries are nice. A couple of tries, streaking and run away. His tough carries out of yardage, Mace.
And defence.
Yeah,
that's all I cared about.
Yeah.
That'll make him a rep player. That'll get him to the rep side. If he's play 2, he's bigger than you think.
Yeah,
he's bigger than he's 6'3".
Yeah,
easy.
Just maybe 6'2", 3.
But he's built. He's put on a couple more kilos. He's quick. He finds space. You've got to put your body in front, otherwise he's throwing and he's going the distance.
You know the part that I loved? So the read on Hopper later in that game off the shift where it was like a try if he doesn't come up with a tackle. Yeah. That was really good, and that's something that he's got better at.
Yep.
But for me, the best effort that he come up with was a kick chase in the middle of the field where he sprint and chased and tackled Hopper as soon as he got the ball. And I was like, Sloan doesn't make that.
A couple of years ago, 2 years ago, Sloan, like, you just wouldn't even if you made a break, I don't think players were even looking for support, right? They'll
drop the shoulders into
him. Take him on. Remember we beat St George down there in 2023.
Yep.
And Sloan was like, he could have saved that game, and his defense was that bad. But I love the fact that he has worked on his game. He's been up and down. He didn't get start. Didn't get his starting spot straight away. They bought Gutho. He thought that transition straight into fullback. No, mate. But I'll bring Gutho in there because Gutho is
all effort,
everything that he's not.
Yeah.
And then he can just grab a little bit and a little bit from Gutho in the next 2 years, and he'll be a fucking brilliant fullback. And he'll be 24.
Yeah, it's a good.
Do you know what I mean? And like Gutho, the positional play from Gutho, the communication skill, which I think he can teach Sloan. These are the things that you can't coach. Fullback has to be the noisiest person on the field. You've got to know where defenses have to be. You've got to know when to put a guy on the short side. And that's all comms, because these big guys only listen to fullbacks. They don't really have a brain themselves to actually look at numbers.
Some don't, do they?
Yeah, some don't, some do.
Yeah.
So I think Sloan, if he can add little bits to his game in the next couple of years, he's going to be nice.
Oh, yeah, agreed.
Real nice.
Yeah, agreed. Love their left edge too.
Jeez,
they didn't quite get the joy. They looked dangerous. They looked like they were going to score multiple times.
If Cherry didn't get fucking Val Holmes in that first couple, that was a beautiful line for Val Holmes.
Val was playing really well.
Val's killing it.
Yeah.
Does he get? Yeah. Well, we'll talk about Origin soon, but fuck.
Yeah, he's in now because Jack Howarth got injured as well.
Yeah, but I don't think you're picking Jack in front of him.
I reckon it was a 50-50.
You would have been going close, but
I
think Val's gone. I think the best thing is him leaving and then going, all right, I'll get my jerseys back.
He's playing well, mate. The whole left edge is playing well. I reckon they missed Tuipulotu for sure.
Yeah, what happened to him?
Did his hammy scoring a try and doing the money signs, celebrating? No, I'm only kidding.
I was going to believe it. I was going to say, fuck. I was thinking if he jumped in the air or something.
No.
He goes ham when he scores.
No, it's the second time. The second time he did the money signs, and maybe, I don't know, who knows? He did a little bit later on, but it was at it was about 20 minutes after the fact.
Well, that sucks because he looks really fit and fucking hard to tackle.
He's in good. I reckon they missed him.
He's in really good form.
Because Matt Fiangai ended up getting injured. He's gone. And then they have the youngster, Sione Finau, who was really nice, looked really nice in that trial when he scored four tries.
Yeah, that's the kid, Bit different. Wrong side too. He's on the other side.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't. No, same. He's on the left.
Yeah, he went to the left. Yeah, he went to the left.
He was missed because his play twos are solid.
It's really good.
You got to put your body in front of that big dude, man. And he looks like, just say a couple of years ago, I think when he was at Manly, a little bit of puppy fat. You know what I mean? He looks ripped.
Yeah. Agreed.
And hopefully he's not out for that long.
Yeah, hopefully another couple of the Dragons
take your time with the hamstrings, especially if you're on the wing. You're on a high octane, right? You're sitting up here.
He would have loved to have played this game too. Ex-Manly player and sort of couldn't get a run consistently at the club. As for Manly, totally missed the jump in this game, and even Big Mole. Big Mole's he's been their best for the last
game he's played.
Yeah, it was so bad for him.
Since I've watched him play, I think that was his worst game.
Yeah.
There's a couple of and we'll get to the Broncos game.
Yep.
With our boy Benny. But Hamole just and stuff that obviously if you had his time again, you wouldn't even attempt it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like some of those passes, like the flick passes, and just nowhere near. Even if it does come off, you're still getting tackled. The wing is probably getting bowled out. So just little things like that. He just needs to pull back a little bit. I'm not sure what was going through his head, but when you're Hamole, you fucking run first and you offload later.
Yep.
You got a run first mentality, big boy. You're bigger, stronger, faster than anybody in the whole comp.
When did they get back in the game? When he just started punching that right edge.
Basic football, and this is just a learning curve for him. He's still a young kid, still young, 26, 27, 100 gamer. He's still figuring it out, but he knows what works.
You know
Don't try and overplay it.
You know what happens in that, I reckon, and I've watched this, not living it myself, but more so just observing it, that 50 to 150 games, I reckon you hit the scene, everything's grouse, people aren't aware of you. Then you sort of start to figure out where you are and where you stand. And then it's very hard to not potentially add a few little bows, little tricks to your bow.
You've got to.
So I reckon he became because of the Cowboys game where he came up with some silky plays and it was all right, now I'm ball playing a little bit, now I'm at the back shape. And he's got a little bit, and Ches is to blame for this as well because Ches is also the one orchestrating it.
Yeah.
They're gone, all right, we had some joy getting him out the back of shape and early tipping to him. All right, this week or the way they started the second half, all right, Moles, we'll get to some creative stuff in the second half. First half,
You set the team.
I'm going to give you the ball. Run the fuck over mates right now.
Yeah.
Get me a quick play of the ball, and then we'll roll off the back of it. That's the conversation that needs to happen.
That's what
between him
Ches
and
needs to do. And I think sometimes when you give a young kid like that with all the talent, and he probably didn't really respect the defense.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know what I mean? He thought he was just going to make his way through and a couple of offloads out the back and flick it here and there, and St George are up for it, man.
You're not super intimidated going into Cole Flanagan, are you?
No, that's what I mean. But he's going to be a dog, and he's going to put his body in front. That's all you want from him.
Yep.
And he didn't really get his one-on-ones with Flanagan because they didn't even get in position to get on the line, have good ball, because they just kept making mistakes midfield.
Yep.
And it fucking ruins them when they do that.
Once they got him playing more direct, they had some joy in the second half. Yeah. The shifts, again, similar to the chat that I had around Hammer a couple of weeks ago about getting Lehigh some early touches. That worked really well for them. They're a really dangerous team. Most teams are. If you're able to, for whatever reason, get in an arm wrestle but still have good shape coming from halfway, geez, it's such a good weapon in this day and age. More teams should be doing it. Yeah. Bulldogs.
There's a lot of football left on these football fields because everyone's so worried about field position and possession and completions. And, there's I've always said it, on the third or fourth play, even the second, third or fourth play, you can have a fucking early shift.
The defensive line's so compressed,
they're in between the 20s.
Yeah.
Both teams.
Yeah.
All they have to do is just be a bang, bang, quick pass, and then the 3 and 4 man, especially the 3 and 2 man, they're way back. Take the meters. Then you just jam it through the middle again.
Yeah.
Some teams are doing it. So it's obviously an effort thing, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's an effort thing.
It's a fatigue thing, right?
It's a fatigue thing shape. You just get into back five, get us out of yardage. You don't, and then the middle's not even thinking about, we're not touching the ball because we just did all this work here. But if you can get in position real quick, some teams, you can pull the other team's fucking pants down and get a good, easy 30, 40 meters. And because, even the back five, like for Cronulla, sometimes they score tries off it. Easy meters.
Yeah. The Sharks game where they scored 2 tries from kick returns and shit. Yeah. If you're able to ask questions, even the way I was watching the game on the weekend, up from the box, Bulldogs were having some joys just with one pass off a kick return.
One pass.
And getting to don't get me wrong, South Sydney's kick defense was dreadful.
Terrible.
But really good recognition from the Bulldogs. I reckon they would have watched the Cronulla Sharks video.
Yes. To
pick that up. And then also they're just so top heavy. When Turbo's missing, Paseka's out, and then you lose Jake in the first 5 minutes. They were actually pretty brave to get back into the game, but still very disappointing.
They did well to get to that score.
Dragon should have blown him out.
Yeah, they should have blown him because you lose Jakey in the middle there, and he does a lot of cleanup work, mate. A lot where some of these other guys that were coming off the bench and they just don't do it. The quality work's not there.
Yep, agreed. All right, let's get to the Dogs. 32-0. This was unbelievable, mate. So, here's some stats for you. It has been 20 days since a team has scored against the Dogs. Now, that was as of Friday when I wrote my notes on this the next day. So, from the last time they played the Sharks till Friday, it had been 20 days since a team had scored against them. That, for people playing at home, is 5 halves of footy. And if you want to get down to the minutes, it's been 210 minutes of rugby league since a team has scored against the Canterbury Bulldogs.
Fuck yeah.
So the last try against them was Kale Ito, 31st minute of the game against the Sharks. No tries against the Knights, had a bye, 0 tries against the South Sydney Rabbitohs. During that stretch, they have taken on the 2022 and 2023 Dalian medalists in Nico Hines, Kalen Ponga, and on the weekend, they took care of Trell Mint.
Yeah. And
what an impressive...
And even you put Cody Walker in there too.
And Cody Walker, but I'm just talking about when you associate the players, you associate Trell with South Sydney, Nico with Sharks and Kalen. Those are some... big ticks, some huge ticks. They've been impressive, and we talked a little bit about the atmosphere, but what about that, mate? So that's a club record.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's an NRL record for a club game. 65,000 at a call for that game.
Just crazy, isn't it? To think 3 years ago we got beat 66-0 against the Knights, and got booed off.
Yeah, wow.
And that's when I was just thinking that was the club on its knees. I was just like, fuck, are we doing the right thing? Like everyone was questioning it. A lot.
You were always pro Ciro during that time.
Yeah, and
why? Why? What was the biggest thing? Was it Gus or was it Ciro?
I knew Gus and Ciro had a plan. He didn't have the players that he wanted, and he didn't have the players working in the system that he wanted. Like the defensive system is high octane. You got to be fit. You got to be willing to work your ass off for a like you got to give 20 minutes, 25 minutes of quality work in the middle. If you can only give 10 or 15, you're not in the team. You are not in the team. Like Harry Hayes has been injured at the moment. And just say,
I hope Jack Todd's all right too.
Jack Todd, I think Jack Todd's okay. Who else has been injured?
He looked like he re-injured his forearm.
Really? He's got a couple of broken arms. Yeah. There's a couple there that play really big minutes in the middle. They play like Bailey Hayward. He can play anywhere.
Yep.
So I got a kid like Kurt Moran, right? He was a starter all year.
I was watching him New South Wales Cup. He played awesome.
Yes, and on the bench for us last year.
Yep.
But because these other guys can play bigger minutes, they're getting the nod. And quality minutes, right? Two Sitili Tupanus, like they're animals, mate. So they play such a high, just energy. It's such a sprint. You watch this. You watch their defense, man.
Yeah.
It's up and then it's a sprint for another 20 minutes. A sprint back. It's
ruthless.
It's ruthless, and they put so much pressure from the inside and makes you play early, and they just got it. Then they work through it. Their kick pressure, and then the kick from Birdo, and then the kick down, and then trying to jam them in there. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a high energy game.
Yep.
So you need to be built different, right?
And the thing is, going back to what we talked about with the Panthers last week, is if someone, because you put so much effort into it, if someone doesn't do it, it can fatigue the rest of the group. Yeah. So everyone has to be on board or else it doesn't win.
Yes.
Here's a question for you, and this is what I was asking myself after the game. What's the market for guys like, respectfully, Max King, who's been unbelievable, Josh Curran, who's been now talked about in Origin contention, Jamin Salmon, Kurt Mann talked about
Kurt Mann's got to be up there.
Being a shout for Origin.
14.
And the reason I bring that up is because I think their prices are not changing all that much.
No.
I think it's a credit to the Bulldogs because I think it's more the system.
It is.
And those guys have got to be given credit for the way they're playing in the system. But it's like this, I don't know, this kink of it, how it all works, and they all just work really hard for each other.
They're the hardest working team in the game. And you have a look at guys like King. Max King was there in 2022, 2023, when they were like really on their, finishing bottom four, second last wooden spoons or something like that.
They got the spoon in 2022, didn't they?
Yeah, Max King was a part of that, right?
Yeah.
So Curran wasn't there, Salmon wasn't there, Mann wasn't there.
Tigers
right?
still got it, sorry.
Yeah,
so the Tigers got it.
Bottom four.
Yeah,
bottom four.
Yeah.
That's just not good enough. So Max has just bought into the system, right?
Yeah.
Max has defensively with the ball. He scored his first try in 80 games, which is great. That's when even the coach is celebrating that 80 games. Curran, he suits our style. Salmon suits the style. Kurt Mann, I think Kurt Mann's the one. Like, I think if he went on the open market, he'd get a fair bit because I reckon I could easily put him as a 14 in Origin right now.
I reckon he's a huge shout.
Yeah, easily because he's built for that game. I think Salmon and Mann, Curran, King, they're all part of a system. They all work so good together. But if they went on the open market, to your question, you're not going to get like
a crazy amount for them.
like how the Penrith Panthers went out on the market and got those because these guys
how people went after the Panthers players.
Yeah, we're not unless we get a lot of rep jerseys and then some competitions getting won, then you'll get that.
Presto's the one.
Preston's the gun.
Preston's the one who's going to get. He's going to get whatever his contract is. Yeah. He's similar to Katal, where he's going to get a lot more money very soon.
So he should.
Very soon.
But they've got a good. It's the system.
Yeah,
you've got to buy into it. You've got to buy into it, and if you don't, you're going to be playing reserve grade. And then even as I said, you always, you got a good side when you got like 25 first graders.
Mate.
Like you saw that Reggie side blow them off. What,
Curtis Moran was powering through the middle.
Yeah.
Saluka Fafita was powering through the middle. Blake Taff was looking sharp at the back. Blake Wilson's a first grader.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So we've got first graders rolling through reserve grade.
Yeah.
That's how strong our first grade is.
Yeah, they destroyed the Rabbitohs.
That's why will be hard to beat at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Right? There's a couple of positions that you'd like to sharpen up a little bit, but it's just like, you can make do.
He's at halftime. It was our box. It was Channel 9, and then I think Groover is Luke Lewis is with 2GB. We all walked out at the same time, just have a toilet break, and we right at the exact time we all just bumped into each other because there's only one toilet. They've got to fix that at Corf for whatever reason.
It is terrible.
Anyway.
No, just one.
Yeah, but that's just in the media side of it. There's probably more toilets out anyway. So we're sitting there just having a chat.
There's not. There's just one.
There's only one in the entire building. Only one. I walked out and I caught Joey straight away, and we were just blown away by the first half. And I looked at Joey and I go, "Fuck, the Dogs can win the comp, eh?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I never thought that before watching it tonight." And he's like, "They're legit." He goes, "They're my favourite now."
Yeah. They're legit, man.
Groover was sitting there going, "Fuck!" Like we were discussing the players and all that, and he's like, "It's the systems." Like
Groover's Luke Lewis, by the way.
Yeah, Luke Lewis. Luke Lewis was just talking about how impressive, how hard they work for each other.
It looks like a 2020 Panthers.
I like that chat.
It looks like a 2020 Panthers when they were just fucking like, where's this defense come from? Where all these efforts and just fucking people like celebrating all the little things, right? Luai's in people's faces, Toto's in people's faces, like dragging them out, picking them up, bang, all this sort of shit. Energy. You know what I mean? Connecting. Just I fucking know it because I see it. I watch it.
It's ruthless.
I look at the coach. There's no secret. That's that dude who created that defensive system out there. And it's paying dividends because, people want to be part of the team now. People want to be part. Like there's some
I wonder how the recruitment's going to work for them.
Big people off contract that want to be part of the Bulldogs. They want to be part of it because they can see because you can see little things like Penrith and you go, fuck, if that could be anything, if you can jag one or two, you'll take unders to go to that club. Do you know what I mean? If you see the writing on the wall, you look at the Bulldogs and their progression is their ceiling is, whoa, it's going like that way. Other clubs are sort of just,
They're definitely the team that everyone's chasing this year. That's clear. I think even
you're going to be in for a fucking game.
Fuck yeah.
Leo
Thompson next year is just going to be like, I'm just watching him on the weekend and he was working so hard for the Knights and it's just like there was no connection.
And that's what I mean by system and playing in a good team. So if he does exactly those numbers and those efforts in a good team, everyone goes, fuck, he played like an animal.
Yeah.
But because you get pumped by 30 and it just doesn't look good as for front rowers.
He's working his ass off.
You work your ass off and you look at, and even like we'll get to Payne Haas's numbers, worked his fucking ass off, took the hardest fucking runs.
You know what?
Just learn out. Just Reece Walsh. Fuck me.
You're talking about recruitment and all that. No, I'll get to Walsh in a bit.
Yeah. I wouldn't fucking talk to him for fucking a year.
Who, Walshy? Walshy was unreal.
That's just a fucking kick. Cost him the game.
He did his PCL on the first 10 minutes.
Give it to someone else a kick.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a bit. The Toby Sexton situation.
Yeah,
that's fucking super interesting.
No, that's the one I was talking about. Just that one player who we go, what's going on there?
That's the elephant in the room, isn't it?
Talks have gone off the table now. I don't know. I don't know why.
Maybe you do.
Maybe I do.
Anyway, I'm intrigued to see what happens there. I know you can't. Don't give away too much because I know for sure.
I'm like, well, there's something up. I mean, like there's, as I said, I'll pick up what you put down, right? You talk about everything what we're building for. Right? I would love to be coached by Ciro if I was fucking 19 years old coming through the system. Me personally, if I was coming through, if I was a young forward, learning how to properly defend and be a gun defender. And that's what I would love to be. Like I'll say it to even Ogo, we just say, fuck, imagine we had this guy at like when we were all about that age. And and we talk about Sarah goes, fuck, I would imagine coaching you, Sonny, fucking Rennie, Willie Tonga, fucking like just Sonny, I mean like Steve Price, Mark O'Mealy, Bobcat. You know what I mean? We had the football anyway, but we just got taught mental toughness, right? It was from Steve Folkes and just fucking hitting, but not good defenders.
Mental toughness.
Good mad hitters would beat the shit out of you, but the way they defend in like waves and everything like that, it's all connected, and it's just like, wow, it's just brilliant.
So you had the mental toughness for sure and this dog mentality, but he's got detail.
It's the detail.
Yep.
It's the detail that guy puts in and the work that he puts in. You're just going, fuck. If I was a young kid, I'd be moving heaven and earth to get there.
No bias at all on that one as well too. Rabbitohs, Jai Gray, he's with the Rabbitohs. He's been their best all year. He's currently leading the Dally M's. I'm watching it from up top. I think they need to switch back to Trell, and my reasons is his kick returns and carries are awesome, and he's always going to get 250 metres. But I don't think this team is constructed to be Penrith-like, to be Bulldogs-like, because they don't work hard enough for that.
Nope.
They almost need – it's weird. They almost need the X factor and the skill set of Latrell because they're not going to beat you in a grind. So there's no point in trying to be that team because it's too late into the season to practice to become a Bulldog, to become a Panthers-styled team. So unfortunately, Jai Gray is the player that would have to miss out. Now, this is how ugly things got for him on the weekend. Souths finished the game with Cody Walker, Campbell Graham and Jai Arrow all on the bench.
I don't think he's the answer. I think he's played brilliant at the start of the year. But for South Sydney to score some fucking points and look a little bit dangerous in the red zone, Latrell needs to play.
He just doesn't offer anything in the 20, does he?
Latrell's the best left centre in the game when he's playing Origin.
Yeah.
Why? Playing with the best players.
Yep. They can
Playing
get him
with
the
the
pill.
best players. There's nothing there that gets him one-on-one. If you're playing 5'8", he's too close to the ruck and you can get at him from 4-man and 5-man, everything like that. They're going to put so much inside pressure on him. But at fullback, he's out the back and he can move. And Cody Walker's so brilliant at putting the ball on his right out in front when he moves with the ball. No one's got hands like him. Jai Gray can't do that. He'll take your meters. He'll do everything like that. He's little as hell, right? You just come out, you can shoot for him, you get him. He's easy to tackle.
Just quickly, he come up with a really good tackle on Bronson Cherry, and there's another time they made a break and he kicked it back on the inside. It could have been 40-0, so he come up with a couple of big moments. Yeah. But he just, offensively, he doesn't ask any questions.
He doesn't ask any questions. And us as a defense, and you play any good defense, you're just coming up and just going, it's going to be a little block. He's out the back.
He's going to run.
Push.
He's going to show and go.
Is he going to 3-on-2? Is he going to hit the right man?
No, he's going to show and go.
He's going to show and go all the time.
Yep.
It works in SG Ball and Flegg and Reggie's. You know what I mean?
It works against shit.
It works against shit defenses, but they're starting to read him.
Yeah.
You know, when you first come through the grades and like you don't really have that much footage on him, you've got enough footage on him now to know what he's doing. So put Latrell back to fullback, but he just needs the meters in his legs. You know, like he's still probably apprehensive.
Second game back?
Yeah, he's very apprehensive about.
So maybe one more game, Jai Gray, and then that's a month of footy for Latrell?
Yeah.
Okay.
Give him a month and then just put him back.
Quickly,
that's the only way they look dangerous.
Yeah. I tell you, he's only played a couple of games, but Jamie Humphries is looking like he's
missed,
he's now missed the Cronulla game and the Bulldogs game, and they just haven't looked as. He's a real effort player too. That's the thing with Jamie Humphries.
He's like Cam Murray. He does those little things. He does those
squares
things.
up well through the middle.
Spoke to Jai Arrow yesterday about the little incident.
Oh yeah.
I said, what the fuck happened there? He goes,
you've been on a rampage messaging fucking players this year, haven't you?
I just want to know. I said, mate, what happened? He goes, he just said some shit. He goes, I just lost my shit.
Yeah.
Straight up. I said, did he say anything personal? He goes, a couple of little things. He goes, I just lost it. I said, fair play, happens. I said, just walk away. Our supporters are fucking nuts. And I said, if you jump the fence, there'd be 20 on you. I said, you're not going to win that. He just started laughing. He goes, nah, it's all good, mate. He goes, it's all good. He goes, I just bit. And this guy, he goes, he was into me the whole fucking game. This one bloke. I said, mate, who are you talking to? I cop it all the time. I said, you just don't turn back.
Yeah.
You just don't turn around because then it'll get personal. And then, he goes, it was nothing. that he shouldn't have handled a little bit better. He thought it was funny. He goes, he's like, fuck it. He goes, I just saw red. He goes, I was fucking losing. There was a lot of factors there. Yeah? Losing, copping this shit from this bloke nonstop. I fucking turned around. I saw him. He said something real smart and fucking shit. He goes, I wanted to kill him. I said, yeah, all right.
Wayne said in the presser, he was asked after the presser, they go, did you see the dry arrow argument on the sideline? He goes, no, what happened? And he goes, oh, like Jai was firing up at the fans. He goes, I wish he fired up on the field. He's the best, though. Only he can get away with that shit. And 100% Jai would hear that. Someone would tell Jai, and you're just like, that's the quadruple OG. What are you going to do, you know?
What are you doing?
Johnny Sutton was loving it as well.
Yeah, Sutton was there.
Was good, mate.
I've seen you chatting to Sutton before the game.
Mate. They're great people, mate. I just love that. I love the whole footy. We're in a very privileged position, and me being back in the Bulldogs and just going to games like that, and like I barely go to games, right? Because I want to watch it because we've got to fucking. This is our job. I need detail. I'm getting talked to, and you know what I'm like. I'll fucking talk to a brick wall, and I'll give everyone my time, and I'll explain things to people or what's happening because people are just asking questions like, why did he do that? So I'm fucking, this is because the block is running this and he's trying to get here and this and that. So I'm like, I went to the game. It was actually really good. I saw most of the game. I was in the chairman's box. It was fucking great. It was the big missile was up there.
Yeah, I seen missiles at the game. Yeah, I didn't see him, but I seen socials.
6'1" Rennie and the big BA
360 BA
360 BA 180 was in there. The 180 podcast was in there. Yeah. That's what we love. 180 tell most of the story but half the truth. Tell the full story but half the truth. 180 podcast. Give it a listen. Braithen Astor and Rennie Matua fucking doing some great stuff. But it was really good. But just I couldn't miss that game, right? I couldn't. Plus I had to do the experience. But what about at the end of the game, right? So I'm like, it's like trying to get out of Origin. Look how hard it is to get out of Origin. So I had to go around the other side to do a Channel 7, a live Channel 7 cross, right? So I'm like, fuck, where are you? She's like, I'm near the Pullman. Like when I come out, it's
that was busy, eh?
Oh, it was busy. So everyone was leaving at the same time, like 5 minutes to leave. So I had to walk around. And it just took me that long. Fans were going ballistic. So like,
show's on.
So Joey left. So I planned on getting a lift with Joey. He goes, I'm out of here straight away. I said, when are you leaving? He goes, after the bell, because usually he has to break the games down. I thought he would have had to do that. He goes, no, I'm allowed to go straight. So I walk out. So Jalissa Apps from Channel 7, she's in this little garden over there. So I do that, and I'm just like getting hassled the whole fucking way. And then I'm thinking like, how am I going to get home? How am I going to get home? I'm like, Ubers weren't allowed in there because they're not allowed.
Fuck, you should have called me.
Yeah, I know.
I had to stay the extra hour.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I didn't even think.
Yeah, so we call an hour after the game and interview the players and shit.
Would have been perfect. Anyway, I said, I'm sitting on Bulldogs fucking Mecca, right? Pullman, all that corner there. Thousands of people. Yeah. People going mad, and me.
People were still pumping into the Easter show too.
And me. So I'm like, how am I going to get out of it? So I'm talking to everyone. Yeah, I'm just thinking, how am I going to get out of it? But I was having fun with the kids and everybody. Wasn't annoying me at all. What do I do? I've just got to go home. Just got to figure out a way. I'm like, I knew the only way was to fucking offer a cabbie something he couldn't refuse. I said, mate, Maroubra? He goes, I said, $200. He goes, get in. I went, and I had to wave to all the people. I said, I told you I'd get in.
I went to the
cost me $200 to get home.
I went to the Easter show before the game. Took Lenny to the Easter show with Kaya. Fuck, we got like a heap of people coming up to me and talking about the potty, which is great. One guy was like halfway through eating a fucking grill, like not a grilled dog, a hot dog with mustard and those German hot dogs.
Yeah, the big ones.
And he's like, can I get a picture? And I was like,
the wiener.
Can I fucking finish my hot dog first, mate? He goes, yeah, no rush. Anyway.
Some people, mate.
Kaya, the big thing and the purpose of that is Kaya, she's not big on footy at all. And she's like, who are the Bulldogs playing? And I found that really interesting. I was like, the plane, look, there's a Rabbitohs jersey. And then I like looked around. I was like, there is 10-1 Bulldogs jerseys to South Sydney.
The borough was empty,
and that was about 10:30, 11 before the game.
Another one. So this is a PA, public service, PSA. Like when I'm walking, right, just say to fans, don't just yell out like I'm a fucking dog, right? And expect me to stop and just like right, I'm obviously going somewhere, right? Like, come here. If you come up and just say, Mace, can I get a photo, mate? 100% I'll stop. But if I'm walking that way, you know how I walk. I fucking walk fast. Like that. And you're 10 meters away and you go, Willie, can we get a photo? I'm like, yeah, you need to fucking come with me. Right? I'm not going to walk back. It's only fair, mate. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're walking that way, I'm walking this way. Like, Willie gives a photo. And then you hear these little snickles and shit. Fuck off, mate.
Give him the Stephen Adams treatment.
You know what I mean?
Do you know about the Stephen Adams treatment? He doesn't sign an autograph or take a photo with anyone who doesn't say please or thank you.
I'm always on that anyway. I'm on that. But, like, I can't say, yeah, just stop in the same spot while you're 10 meters away and go, Willie, give us a photo. Use your fucking manners, first of all.
I'll send you the clip, Lukey. So there's a clip, and he got hammered on social media because there was a young kid who's just putting his fucking poster out for Stephen Adams. And he's walking through the tunnel before a game, after pre-game warm-ups, and he's looking around, and it looks like he's, for whatever reason, just brushing a whole bunch of people, but he has a non-negotiable. He does not sign autographs for people that say please or thank you.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Mate, I'm like that anyway. You know what I'm like.
Can you please sign an autograph? He walks over, bang, signs an autograph. There was a kid sitting him right in front of him, didn't get anything because he's like, just sign. Like, and again, it's a little bit harder for kids because they got to learn.
Fault.
They got to learn from their
parents' fault.
Yeah, they got to learn from their parents. So there's a way where you sort of give them a pass, but it creates and sends a good message to them as about like what is acceptable.
I've always been like that. I will not say so. Even if he goes, can I have a photo? Say please, mate. Always say please. And then I'll be looking at the parent. Say please. You know what I mean? Like, you should be teaching your kid all these little things. Archer will not get a thing if he doesn't say please or thank you or anything. If I introduce you to anyone, Archer, it's like you say, I'm Archer. Shake their hand, look in their eyes, and then you go, then get behind dad or whatever. Like, you understand. He's 5 years old. He understands that shit now.
Yeah.
You got to fucking teach these young kids how to be young men, right? And be respectful. And don't say that shit. That's the fucking thing that gets me all the time in public is when people just treat you like you're a fucking zoo animal. Dude, I'm a fucking grown-ass man. I got shit to do. Yeah, I'll take a photo. You know me. I'll take a photo with fucking everyone. If it's in the right circumstance, if you come and get me at the right time and say the right thing, can I get please get a photo, mate? No worries, mate. That's why I was standing on the corner near the Pullman because there's young kids coming up. Hey, can we get a photo? Yeah, no worries, fucking whatever. But just come about it the right way. Otherwise, I'll just keep fucking walking.
Well said.
It's a good message for Magic Round coming.
It is a really good one.
Oh, yeah, and I love Magic Round, and and this is a fucking person who's been off the piss for 15 weeks too, so I'm not dealing with it.
Here's the thing with our show too sometimes, right? You know what I'm thinking about now, and I'm thinking about ways to segue, and when he's talking about animals, I was going to go to the Dolphins. But I was just thinking about, when people look at chat sometimes, this has been about 10 or 15 minutes about shit that wasn't about the game that is now part of the Bulldogs chat. When people look at the timestamps going, why did you spend 25 minutes on the Bulldogs game? And 5 minutes on the Knights versus Sharks.
Yeah, well.
Because of that absolute dribble from us. But that's good shout.
Dribble, mate.
Good shout. Dolphins 42 defeat the Storm 22. Uso Unknown has this. What's up, Usos? Triple OG, the Journeyman Scope, and the Bro Lukey Stowe. L1 since day 3. Not a first commenter, but first time this year. Happy after my Finns go 3 in a row.
Yeah.
And last 2 was the NRL Grand Finalists. 13 plus to both of them. Damn. I want to say, how good is rugby league as a fan in 2025? My work tipping comp score is at an all-time low with how close the NRL is. And if anyone says they have aced an NRL round, you are lying. Just 100%. A question. Can we give Rose Stone the official Stone Cold status? He is definitely cut from a different cloth like the Triple OG mentioned last year. First person I've seen in the NRL history to score 2 tries, then get up and barely even crack a smile.
He did it.
And start walking back to the kickoff while the team is ahead on the scoreboard. Does the money man Chris Tuipulotu need to take notes from Ray Stone or the other way around? Good to finally get a win over the Storm since joining the comp. Last time we haven't beat is Uncle Viliamu's Bulldogs. Ooh. See you in round 12, Uncle, for the upset of doom.
Love the question.
Shout out also.
Well done, mate.
So many layers there. Some really good chat around Ray Stone, and I want to start with Ray Stone. So everyone is frothing over Katoa, and he was my young buck of the week.
Yeah.
But Stone and Kerr changed the game off the bench for the Dolphins. And Stone in particular, Kerr comes up with a nice try and Stone gets a couple of meaties. But defensively, when Ray Stone come on the field,
Cuts you.
he was chopping players in half, Mace, and he is the only player in the competition that I can see that can somehow, I don't know how he does it, he must hit the legs.
No, he's a thigh hitter.
And he must cork their thighs every play that he tackles around that area, because he's the only guy that can tackle around the legs and still have control and finish up on top.
But he hits like from like the top of the quad to the gut. It's like perfect technique.
He's a beast.
Fuck, he's like even like a Payne Haas, he'd get Payne Haas.
Yeah,
he'd get
like he chopped Ali Katoa.
And that's hard.
Like ripped him, and then Ali was looking like, who the fuck was that?
Who's this guy?
Yeah,
Zero smile.
Zero small. Just gets up at marker.
Yeah.
I think there was a bit of push and shove a little bit later on too, and he was in the middle. I was like, he just seems like you'd just fucking love to play with Ray Stone.
Yeah.
And Josh Kerr, now get to Josh Kerr. He is a rep player. If he can,
Been saying it for a while, haven't I?
your biggest thing that you say, Mace, putting together a quality 25 to 30 minutes. If Josh Kerr can do that consistently, Billy will pick him for Origin.
He did that to the Storm.
Yeah.
Right? Bit of footwork.
He was excellent last
But
week as well.
Bit of, like just footwork. Like he set up a try, you know what I mean, around the corner here, like last week. But like a little bit of footwork, finding some space. Big man, if you're a big man with some footwork and some pace, don't just waste your time there in the middle. They're going to get you. Marcus will get you fucking A, B. You know the defensive system works for most teams. But like he's got some talent, man, and he just needs to string, just say another 4 or 5 good games together, and then he'll be in the run for it.
The problem with him, and this has been my biggest knock on him because I like him as well, he has 3 or 4 really good games and then he has a real stinker. He needs to get that stinker out of his
reserve
game.
grade.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's just like he just needs to get that like just consistent, whatever he did on the weekend, whatever his mindset was.
He looks fit.
Whatever, exactly.
He looks fit.
Whatever his mindset is
Yeah.
and what he took into that game, take it into the next game.
Yeah.
Take it, and that should be your baseline.
He's a 100 gamer.
I know.
That was his 100th game.
Really?
He's got past the point now of being inconsistent,
No,
right?
no.
If he locks in, he's still at a cherry ripe age for a middle.
Yeah.
I think he's around the 27, 28 mark.
Yeah.
100 games.
Yep.
He should be playing Origin with his talent.
He can by the end of his career, he could have nearly half a dozen.
Yep.
Good
Agreed.
couple of series.
I really like the depth of the club right now in a couple of really key positions, and that's utilities, similar to your Bulldogs. So Jeremy Marshall-King's ruled out, which I said was going to be persuading me from picking the Dolphins, but once I found out Harry was...
When did you find Harry was out? Late?
Same time, Friday. Yeah, Friday during the day.
Is he that big a part for that team?
Huge.
He must be, because they looked out of sorts without him.
Well, I'll get to my pick a little bit later on why I still selected the Dolphins. But then they lose Jeremy Marshall-King. On top of that, they lose Max Plath, who's an absolute gun after 15 minutes. What is it? Plantar fasciitis? Is that what it's called? Or how do I?
Plantar fasciitis.
I was way off.
Plantar
way off.
Yeah.
That's
plantar
how
fascia, yeah.
We're always good for a doozy every couple of weeks. Anyway, I've never known how to pronounce that, and that was
plantar
awful.
Fascia, it's under your foot.
So he goes off. I really like Kurt Donahue. I think Kurt Donahue's a really solid player as well.
Where did he come from?
He's been playing the hybrid role for him for a couple of years.
Where did he come from? Has he been
Been at the club for 2 years now. Played sparingly.
Clubs,
Don't know junior club.
Yeah.
Played for Fiji in the halves last year.
Okay.
He's a really good Mr. Fix-It off the bench.
Yep.
So when you've got Jeremy Marshall-King starting when they're fully fit, Max Plath at lock, and Donahue off the bench, it gives the versatility that the Bulldogs have really got.
I like what you got there.
All right, let's get to the next bit. The physicality, both defensively and offensively, between Lemuelu, Fine Fuiaki, the OG's Kafusi, and we gave this guy... We didn't shed him in the best light a couple of weeks ago when I mentioned the Uppy Coruscant.
But he was fucking fatigued. That's just
It was his second game.
Second game back, played one game in 18 months.
Tom Gilbert was unreal.
He's a dog.
He's a dog. They got Gilbert and Kafusi want to bash you without the ball, and Fine Fuiaki and Lemuelu want to bash you with the ball.
They've got a really good balance. And I saw this at the start of the year. That's why I was backing them. I didn't see him beating these guys. I didn't see him. I would never back them against these guys, even when they play them next. But the first 3 games, I thought they could have won those first 3 games.
Yep.
Then they've won the last 3. They've put it all together. And now they're playing a really good brand of football. And if this doesn't catapult them into like, hey, boys, we can fucking take anyone on. We just took the Storm on, and that is the side that I'm thinking is the only side that can beat the Bulldogs.
Yep.
And they handled the Storm easily. Granted, no Harry
Granted.
Harry granted, there's no Harry Grant. And I didn't think that he was going to be that big a part of a bigger loss, because I thought Harry Grant's a good play, put Wishart in there, blah, blah, blah. But his delivery and his deception around the ruck, how he's been, when they've been on, is been the best 9 in the world, hands down. He ignites everything. Jerome Hughes goes after quick play the balls, after Stefanos and Josh Kings. He's the main guy. He just clearly showed it then, because I think they could have won that game without Jerome Hughes or without Munster, one of those guys, or without Pappenhausen, but not without Harry Grant.
That's a huge wrap. So here's the reason I went the Dolphins.
Yes.
It's a mixture of, I think the Dolphins were better than people were giving them credit for because of the slow start. I could see signs that there was they were trending on trajectory on going up. But I called both Melbourne games against the Warriors and Parramatta, and then seen the Melbourne Storm live against Manly, like I mentioned last week. And just the sloppiness of the second halves. They were nowhere near as ruthless as years past, and they mentioned it after the game. Bally and Money mentioned it in the presser. They got beaten. They lost the second halves of both the Eels and the Warriors games, despite how clinical they looked in the first half. And just Melbourne weren't like that. So I thought, no way did I envision the Dolphins to go 16-2 and somehow go on a fucking 40-point run. I didn't envision that. But I envisioned the Dolphins being closer in the first half. Maybe they're down by a try, 2 tries max, and then the Dolphins just being thereabouts at the back end of the game because of how sloppy they've looked in the second half. Now, injuries would have added to that. No Harry. Jack Howarth goes off, which is going to be a huge loss. Looks like he's out for an extended
well, they're both out for like
time,
4 to 6 weeks, right?
Yep.
That's a long time. Just before, and Harry's just before Origin. He'll be back. He'll be pushing it. Who I know this quick little
it's Reedy. Everyone keeps saying it's Reedy.
Guaranteed Reedy?
Not guaranteed, but a lot of people think Reedy will get a shot. Ben Hunt.
No way.
Ben Hunt with Tom Dearden off the bench in the 14. I'd go Reedy.
I'd go Reedy, yeah. I would. If they're looking for the future.
Who else is about? There's got to be. There's
another one.
No, there's one more. That you wouldn't. Oh, Psycho Plath, and he got injured as well. Max Plath, his name was being tossed up, and but he got injured. He did his. What is it again? Say it again.
Plantar fascia.
I can't say that.
Plantar fascia.
Fasciitis or something.
Plantar fasciitis.
The thing you get when you run.
I think I even said fascia something the other way around. Way off. So. Yeah, Billy had a rough week, to be honest. Lost Harry before the game. Jack Howarth gets injured in the game. I reckon he would have been thereabouts with Val for that left centre position. And then they lost Walshy later on. He's done his PCL in this game against the Broncos, against the Warriors as well. So rough. I know you're feeling sorry for the Queenslanders up there, aren't you, Mace? Rough weekend for Queenslanders. Harry will miss apparently 4 to 6. Howarth could be the season. Shoulder dislocation.
Right.
Dislocated his shoulder.
No more structural damage.
In a badly beaten side, he's been a guy that's been improving a whole lot. I think Grant Anderson had some really nice touches again in this game. He could be a really good pickup for the Broncos next year, I reckon.
Yeah.
Because I think they're going to lose, obviously the Mariner situation, something's happening there. Madge isn't happy with him. I don't think they'll re-sign Selwyn Cobbo. I reckon we can see Grant Anderson having a really good season next year. Yep.
Selwyn, I reckon?
I just don't think they can keep him. And money-wise, because they've gone and got Grant Anderson, I think they maybe are accounted for that early.
Did Katoni's re-sign, didn't he? No.
Apparently Katoni's been done, but it hasn't been made official yet.
Yes. It's a weird one.
All right, let's get to the Wars.
All right.
A lot of Warriors fans have just been sitting through the last hour and a half.
I'm not even going to talk about them.
The Warriors 20 defeat the Broncos 18. You talked about the conditions, mate. How good were they in the conditions? Now, I guess there would have been a level of frustration from the fans early on in this game, watching the game, and even I could hear it in the commentary. And it was like very simplistic style of footy, but they just completed high. And what is footy, wet weather footy one-on-one, mate?
High completions.
Just dropping players under, right?
Yeah.
Changing of angles.
Change your direction.
There was fuck all, and I mean, really good footwork.
Jamming in behind the ruck.
Leka Halasima try. Really, not much doing. Drop a player under. Little bit of late footwork.
Yeah.
Get Kut slipping, and Leka goes over. He's a
good player, mate.
He's a little young tearaway, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's got his celebration too. So you've got the money signs for Tuipulotu. You've got the shrug of the shoulders from Adam Fanua-Blake.
What's Leka doing?
And now Leka, he's done the shush sign. So he did the shush running to score the try against the Tigers, remember? With 7 minutes to go, they could have backfired. Then he shushed the crowd at Melbourne when they were down by 30. And this time he's shushing the crowd when he go up, I think 6-0. I think he might have scored the first or second try.
I love seeing characters like that. I think he's going to be around for a minute.
Yeah.
He's got the look. He looks good. He looks fit. He looks like he hits hard. He runs hard. He looks like he's got a real super attitude, bit of swag,
low center of gravity.
Fucking just looks like he could just get on a squat rack and just do 280.
He looks like a 6'1" Rennie, just low. He's just center of gravity, very hard.
I think he'd be taller than Ren. No, I'm not honest. I mean, I'm not. I think he's about 6'2". He's a good.
No
dude.
way. No, he's a 5'11"
I
max.
want to know if Leka Halasina is taller than Rennie Matua.
Check out get the measurables for me because he's a little pocket rock.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm confident in that one.
185.
What's that mean?
I'm 190 and I'm 6'3".
He's 6'1".
He's 6'1".
Told you he's got Ren.
Well, no, he's got Ren, but I was no way he was 6'2", 6'3". That was
okay.
my thing. Yeah.
All right, well, 6'1's enough.
Yeah, we're right in the between.
He's the real 6'1".
He's the real 6'1". He's a legit 6'1". Hey, but you know what they're like?
6'1".
You know what they're like when they're a little bit smaller too. They add an extra.
He might be adding stuff, Leka. Someone, get someone to measure him on the wall.
One of the most underrated signings of the season. You mentioned him right at the start when you were talking about your OG Bull. Aaron Clark's been really good.
Man.
I reckon he's one of the most improved players in the comp in the last 2 seasons. I remember when they first signed him and how I mentioned it before, I'm really in touch with how the WYONG feel about signings and players and form. And after the first round, they didn't perform too well. People were hammering the Aaron Clark signing, but he's like a hybrid of Jazz Tavanga and Dill Walker together. Yeah. He's like the Bash Bros all put together in one.
He's fucking
nice silky footwork, nugget.
Big minutes.
Big minutes. He's a really improved player. Yeah. Aaron Clark's playing really good.
He's finding his role there. He's finding his role. Like at the Titans, he never was starting. He was always coming off the bench, so he'd just come on and he'd try and do a lot of things where I think him coming back home to the Warriors as well plays a big part.
That's a good shout.
That's that's his heritage there. Playing for the Warriors would have been his dream when he was younger. Now he gets to play there. That's where Fisher Harris has that as well. A lot of Māori boys, when they go back there, they play their best. They play some really good football. He was good. I reckon he was up there with Mitch Barnett. He was up there. They played just real simple footy. They held the ball. They held the ball. They didn't make silly mistakes. They didn't make stupid mistakes. Themselves. They didn't beat themselves like they usually beat themselves.
It's not super pretty, is it?
You know,
if you're watching, I'm watching the Warriors games going, they don't have a better roster clearly than the Broncos. There've been a couple of times I don't think they've even got a better roster than the Tigers. And settle down, right, Warriors fans. What I mean by that is they're playing above what their talent is because they've got a clear plan, and Webby is doing a great job in coaching them up. Yeah. Like he's getting the best out of this team. Yeah. And this is what you got to do early in the season because these players might progress and become better players than I even anticipated at the start of the year. But right now, they're playing. Everyone's playing as well as they can, and Webby's doing a great job. And going to the Leka Halasima and Ali Lautea on the left edge. The one part that I always gave Penrith credit for that I don't think enough people did is their versatility, being able to play multiple positions on both sides. Great signs from young Leka and Ali to be able to play. I don't know why Kurt Capewell didn't play left when he's played left predominantly most of his career. Yeah. But they must see Ali Lautea as an out-and-out left centre.
Back to Capewell. He's good. I mean, I come out and they think that I'm going to take my comment. Oh, that comment. You'll take that comment down.
Take your licks.
Fuck off, mate. Like, I'm not that sort of person that's going to take a comment down. I said what I said.
Yeah. He
You know
did
what I
get
mean?
caught too, by the way.
You know, he's like
He streaked away, but he did get caught.
He got caught. It
So
was a great
he's lost
ball.
a step.
It was great hands from the 7.
Yeah.
Good field position. Stupid ball from Ben Hunt. Fuck's sake, what are you doing?
We'll get to Benny Hunt in a bit.
Anyway, whatever. He played well. He played Origin 4 years ago. It's a long time. 4 5
In the
years
centres,
ago.
yeah, 4 years ago in the
2021, like he's
centres,
done
yeah.
a really good job, but he's lost the meter. Yeah,
He did get caught.
Yeah, but
Give you that.
he does a job. I forgot how good of a defensive player he was.
He's so good,
I
mate.
really forgot how.
You know what
good
he is,
was.
mate?
Who was he marking?
He was marking
Was it
Shibasaki.
Shibasaki. He didn't give him much work, did he?
Shibasaki's not going to worry you.
Shibasaki ain't going to work you.
Yeah.
You know,
He's been a good story, Shibasaki.
He is, yeah, but he ain't going to work you like a Katoni or he's going to go up against a Bradman Best or something like that. You're going to get work there.
I wonder if he factored that in because you're laughing because you think that's a slight. But then you know what?
No, I'm laughing at Kempy's goatee.
Oh, Kempy's goatee. Have you seen Kempy's
Can
goatee?
we have a goatee?
He's doing a Shibasaki goatee.
He'll be shaving that off
fucking
centre
yuck,
because
no
Shibasaki
way.
will be out of the team.
Shibasaki can't. He can barely pull it off. Fuck. But Capewell did well, but he just did. He defended really, really good. He's a gun defender. I forgot that.
He's just
And
an
he
out-and-out
made some,
first
made some
grader.
good plays, mate. Don't try and act like he's a fucking second coming of Mal Meninga.
You know what the Wild's team is
Jesus
like.
Christ! I was just thinking, they're going, am I watching a fucking another game? Did Capewell make did he just do it like a Bradman Best job in Origin or like a Latrell in 2020? Did he do turbo in 2021 or did he just make a fucking break? Calm your fucking jets, you idiots.
The TikTok editors are after you, mate.
Fuck's sake, mate. Go and follow TikTok. I'm not a fucking kid.
Yes, really good points.
Well done,
Let's get to the
Capewell,
Broncos.
but well done.
Broncos. All right, so we were just talking about this before. Walshy kicking the ball at the end. So I wrote down a note about this too because I was watching this game early on. So Walshy, for whatever reason, and so I'd written my notes before I'd found out about the PCO injury after the fact.
Yeah.
So Walshy would love to have that kickback for sure, but he was really good defensively in that game. And I remember when I seen him kicking off, and I was like, he was hobbling around after about 15 minutes,
Yeah.
and then they come on and strapped his knee. So why was he doing any form of
Any
kicking?
kicking. You've got guys like Cobbo and Cantoni, Reynolds. I mean, Reynolds, maybe he's probably got
Hammy as well, potentially.
hamstring, but like you've got
Katoni's the shout.
Mate, you can fucking get Carrigan to kick the thing.
Yeah, Katoni's the one.
Katoni's the one, right?
Katoni's the one.
Not here. I mean, it eventually cost him the game, right? But you can take that out of his hands. He did well, such a good job just to even get through the game, I thought, because he was busted real early.
Yep.
He toughed it out. I thought he played well. A couple of little mistakes here and there, but you know, you got to take that out of his hands, mate. You just can't.
Credit to him. He's again
He's
similar.
tough, mate.
We talk about NRL players being criticised, and sometimes not talking about not getting enough credit for their toughness, but to play in 65 minutes with the PCO, and I thought he played the conditions pretty well.
Yeah, he did.
Defensively, he was really good and desperate, and
That was the only blight in his game.
and he had the opportunity and actually made the right pass at the right time for an Arthur's try, which he hadn't been.
Perfect. That was perfect.
He nailed it finally.
He nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just timing, and that'll come in. It just sucks that he's getting this injury right now. It's going to take him, 4 to 6, depending on his healing time. He's probably going to miss Origin, and just concentrate on the Broncos. But yeah, Ben Hunt.
All right, let's get to
What the fuck is
Hunty.
happening with that guy?
Yeah,
That was one of the worst fucking performances I've ever seen him
from
play.
him. Yeah,
Yeah,
same.
he's usually he prides himself on consistency. Like that pass where it just went into.
He looked
Kurt
confused.
Capewell. Yeah, into Capewell just. Oh, I'll run with this.
What's that? Yeah,
What the fuck
we're not
pass-
playing.
what are you
We're
passing
not
to
playing
me for?
Origin yet.
Not Origin. Jesus Christ. It was weird, and the one that got me, the fucking field goal, the field goal attempt when he bumbled the ball, and it, chances are he's slotting it. Game over. They're the things that you get paid $1 million for, your 300 gamers and everything like that.
There must be a lot of shit going on with regards
that
to
was
their
hard.
cohesion and their connection as a Haas pairing, because he is a 300 gamer who, on 4 occasions, one of them being the dropout, juggled the ball on catching it. And that's just like overthinking, playing the play before it arrives. He's way too experienced to make those mistakes. He was that bad, mate.
Yeah, I was shocked. Madge moved him. He put Billy Walters at fucking 6.
Yep.
That's how much he didn't trust him.
Well, here's my thing with it.
Not to trust Ben Hunt, who is clutch.
You know what it reminds me of? The Roosters of the last couple of years. Too many chefs in the kitchen. So they've got too many guys that want the ball, similar to the way I was critical of the Roosters a couple of years ago. Keary wants the ball. Sam Walker wants the ball. Yeah. Victor Radley wants the ball through the middle. Cheese wanted the ball. Teddy wants the ball. Joseph Manu needs to get involved more. Like, there's so many guys, right? And now this team is so stacked with star power, and he's just, in a way, you would have thought it would have been the best compliment. But Ben Hunt has been highly successful for a while. Reynolds was controlling the team. Walshy was having his X-factor moments. Selwyn Cobbo and Katoni would come up with a couple of big plays per game. Now it's not happening. Paddy Carrigan was controlling the game through the middle in years past. Now he's just fucking carting the ball up.
Yeah, it looks pretty basic.
He's just they just turned him to an out front rower.
It looks pretty basic. There, go forward. It'll be interesting when we break down the Bulldogs game this week. I'm like, you got to just take care of Payne Haas. And then that nullifies Carrigan.
Fuck, they're playing this week.
Yeah, they play this week. It'll be a great game.
Yep.
But like that from Ben Hunt, we'll probably never see it again.
Yeah.
But that was embarrassing.
Yeah, it was rough.
It was rough. Just the like he about 2 or 3 really bad mistakes before that. The Cape Ball one and everything like that. That was his fault. A couple other drop balls, simple things. But then to execute the game winner, right? All set up to the right side of the post to Reynolds. Boom. I'm thinking 95% game over. I'm backing Reynolds in that situation. And he didn't pick the fucking ball up properly. This guy's a 9 for Australia, a 9 for Origin. He ain't, it's not like he's, oh shit, get in at 9. Oh fuck, I don't know what I'm doing. You know exactly what you're doing. I'll just put it down to one game.
Do you reckon it's similar to the Roosters? Like Luke Keary.
Yeah,
remember a couple of years ago when we were watching Luke Keary going, he's nowhere near the 3-time premiership player that
because of, like, I think Ezra Mam's got to do his time, right?
Yep.
But he's that guy. He's the 6.
Yeah.
And then so Hunt is not so much involved with ball playing. You put him at 9.
I reckon he'll really open them up.
How many games of Q Cup does Ezra play before coming back?
Fucking like as much. Just say if they get beat this week from the Bulldogs, and then maybe
because it would be then Magic round
after Magic round.
So after Magic round, just say Dogs pump them this week, right? And then so that's 8. That's 8 games.
Dogs is a good game for them, I reckon.
It'd be a great game. I'm just saying. But you fuck up and it looks awful again, right? It doesn't look like the cohesion's there. Walsh is out, all this kind of stuff. So, like, we don't know what it looks like, right? Who do you put Cobbo at fullback? It's going to be all over the shop, right? So, what do you do with Hunt there? What do you do with Ezra Mam? You put Ezra Mam. Ezra Mam needs to play games in reserve grade, first of all, to get some match fitness. Can't just throw him. Probably argue he needs 2 or 3 games. And then you'll see where they sit on the ladder, and then he'll be
because they always get the Origin buys too, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, because they're one of the teams that's got a really bad Origin buy schedule. Sorry, good for Supercoach, bad for Supercoach, good for them. The fullback's going to be interesting moving forward.
Yeah, what do? You put Ezra there? No. Do you put Selwyn? Jesse?
No.
Mariner?
No.
Didn't they have that? They've signed that doggies.
Yeah. Hayes Perham. Jeez, I'm not super confident in that as well.
No, it'll be Cobbo. I think
Probably
Cobbo will play.
Yeah, and put Mariner back in the team.
Yep.
Because Shibasaki would have been close to getting... Like, Shibasaki's been solid, but Dean Mariner, I don't know what the problem is with Dean Mariner. He must have had a really poor off-season because he just hasn't even really got a look in.
I haven't even looked at him.
All right, let's get to the Panthers 40, defeating the Roosters 12. As I expected in this one, Mace, this was the revenge game for him.
I knew it.
When you've won...
As soon as I backed him, I knew. I just knew straight away. I said, fuck me.
Well, here's the thing, and this is what I anticipated. When you've won 4 premierships in a row, it must be so hard for them to get up for games now. Yeah. Everyone's continually coming after them. What do you need? What have they been big on? Like, I've watched the documentaries. They're big on themes. What was the theme for them this week, I reckon? Fuck these Roosters up who started this run, and let's get our...
End it now.
Let's get our season back on track.
Right, I'm putting him back in the 8. No.
I still don't have him in the 8, by the way.
I don't know, mate.
still don't have him in the
They played they played outstanding. It was their best game since Cronulla. Since the Cronulla one. They just look clean. They just look like how they should, like McLean. They played exactly how they should, how they've been looking for the last 4 or 5 years. Dylan Edwards, not that sharp, but like Edwards was good.
The first half an hour wasn't convincing.
Yuck, yeah.
The first half an hour, I was like, "Oh, they're still a little bit nervous," and they were able to kick away. Isaiah Papali'i and Lindsay Smith have been really good off the bench for him this year. Now, I don't know what the thought process is behind Lindsay Smith starting off the bench, but I think it's this. It saves an interchange by him being on the bench. And what I mean by that is because he can play really big minutes, if they put him on at the 20-minute mark and front load with both either Liam Henry and Moses Leota, who aren't going to play 60, 65 minutes, you can bring Lindsay Smith on at the 60th minute and then he finishes the game.
He can play the whole game.
So I think that's the thought process behind Lindsay Smith off the bench because he's been arguably their best through the middle. Outside of, I reckon he's probably been their best, and Ice has been really good as well for him this year. And in this game, he was excellent.
Probably he was better. He was their best player. Every run was intent. Intent was there.
He's a proper middle now too.
Yeah, they ran with intent. They hit with intent. They just was a different team. They're just like, fucking come on, let's go. Let's turn it on. Let's go. We've still got this team. We've still got a fucking top 8 team easily, right? Cleary, better game. You know, like just
the
Edwards, better. You know, Edwards just his tackle, just his placement, and no six agains and all this sort of shit, and they'd back their defence and always in place, right? Those little kicks, the teddies, and he's always banging them back. A couple of weeks ago, they were scoring those tries. You know, when he wasn't there, just his placement. He's the best at that.
He took it personally this game.
Yeah, because he's like,
Eddie versus Teddy.
100% he was probably thinking, they're thinking Teddy's got my spot. I've got to show up. And he did. If
it was 50-50 leading into this game, it's back to 60-40, 70-30.
Done. It's done to he's got the spot. He's got it. They looked all right.
This is the part where I thought there's something for them moving forward. So on the last try, Casey McLean, because like I said, it wasn't completely clean all the way through, but McLean scored a try at the end where Dylan Edwards got into second receiver out the back of Nath.
Yep.
And then Blaze Talangi was the third sweep line. And what I think Blaze is more comfortable in that role than the second receiver because Edwards squares up better than what Blaze Talangi did. So Blaze got out the back and almost like a fullback role.
I like that.
And then had a nice little tip onto McLean.
That looked sharp.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of things that I'm looking at Blaze and I'm like, there's no impact on the game. It doesn't look like he doesn't look like he's strong enough. He looked strong last year. He bumped Turbo off.
Too much thinking.
I don't know. It was just like sometimes just dig in yourself and just fucking, get early ball and have a couple of runs here and there. And
think about the games he played last year. That was against Turbo, but that's when he was playing centres. Yeah. When he played 5'8", he didn't even look close to that. Too much thinking. He's not thinking about just running. It's like the Olakuatu thing early on, right? He's got so much shit in his head to worry about. He just forgets about what's the main thing.
Yeah, it'd be hard for him to I'm not sure if he's a 6. I don't know.
Not right now. He's not
right now. I just think
he's not a top tier 6 right now. He could be. I think he can be.
He could play centre.
Yeah,
I reckon he could play centre.
I think he can.
Or if they find a role for him to be out the back. On that second, get
a little variation.
A little bit of variation there, which I think they can. They're that well coached. They'll do that.
That bug got me right on the nose. All right, Lukey, I'm going to put you to work on a bit of a clip for me over the weekend, mate. Apologies before you get away. The Roosters trick play. I've got a few sequences that I thought was really important for this Roosters trick play. And
yes.
The scrum play.
Yeah.
So I broke it down and watched it a few times, and this is what I think is important when you come up with a beautiful play like this. And it's good too because I'd seen this shitty long shift that teams have been doing from scrums. All right, I was thinking, why isn't anyone taking the short side? And the Roosters did it perfectly. So, first box you need to tick. You need to find a team to use it on because you only get to use it once. This sort of play, you very rarely get to get away with it twice, maybe at the back end of the season against another real team, but you need to find indicators. So, first box to tick. all right, let's not waste it in a game where we don't think we can get a result or we think it can be really helpful in getting a result. Tick. 15th versus 16th against the Panthers team, down on confidence, losing the game 20-6, but it gave them the opportunity to get back 20-12 and potentially put a bit of pressure on the Panthers. All right, first box ticked. Going into the game, this is a good team to apply the pressure on. The second part of it, identify personnel to attack once you select the team. Panthers left edge is perfect. I've got right edge here, but I stuffed up. It's left edge. So on the Panthers left edge, you have Casey McLean, Blaze Talangi, and Tom Jenkins. Between them, they've got about 50 games of first grade experience and only 2 games of playing together. Big tick. Love attacking that edge. Now, the Panthers' edge this year has been leaking more points than Isaac Moses has information to the media. Right? That's how bad they've been on that edge.
That's massive.
And that's for certain parts of the media too, by the way. Between them, Jenkins and McLean, neither of them would have spent hardly fuck all time defending in scrums, which is another really important part. So it's the part of the field that matters as well, because if you go back and watch it, and you'll be able to see it in the clip, Lukey, with the late change that shifts, you get Jenkins go off the wing. He slides into the back row of the scrum, which confuses the hell out of Casey McLean. He not only doesn't get to hold his edge, he gets pushed into hooker. So because of that, there's confusion. Sorensen, so the number one rule, if you're defending in a scrum, and Mace will know this, if I'm packing into the second row of the scrum, my little indicator, and Mace knows I'm a really good communicator, so this is the way I was, I'll just tap Mace on the scrum going, I'm breaking left, get my inside, right? But because of all the confusion around the late change and the sliding into the scrum and having players that aren't accounted for there was no communication, you could tell. So then they break hard. Because McLean shifted from back row to hooker, he completely gets lost. And now here's the beauty of it.
Oh, sorry, it's back when Hoz is saying, I'm going left, get my inside. I'm front row on that side. He's the left side back row, or opposite. I'm on the right and he's on the right. I've got his inside. Yep. I've got to break after him. So he's chasing out. Then I've got the inside runner. So that's what he's trying to say. Yep.
So Scott Sorensen was the front rower because of the late changes. Him and Jenkins both overchased because there was no communication there about what their role was. So, in the perfect world, Jenkins goes hard, Sorensen covers his inside and he's able to stop the try. Now, here's the beauty of it, and I'm not 100% on this, but I was watching closely to see if there was any communication to Jared Sutton. Sandon Smith says something to him just before he feeds the scrum, and the reason this is important is the ref can fuck it up by getting in the way. When you do a short side play like that, if you jump out of the scrum and Jared Sutton gets in the way, it can blow up the move. So Sandon Smith says something to him and then he responds, and I'm not 100%, but I'm thinking maybe he was made aware, because when you watch Jared Sutton, he peels out and goes straight back behind the Panthers to remove himself from obstructing the Panthers as well, to try to stop it, whilst also getting out of the way of the Roosters.
How many times did you watch this? You must have rewound it a couple of times.
No, just twice, 2 or 3 times I was watching the game. Like once I seen it break out, I was like, oh, fuck, beautiful play.
Yeah,
how did they pull it off? And then I watched it and then...
I just saw the overchase and I was just like, that's silly.
So Jared Sutton moves out of the way. And then what that does as well, also, if you tell Jared Sutton to move out of the way, one, he can remove himself from being an obstruction for the play, but also he can't call the forward pass, which is important as well. So if he breaks right out and goes towards the sideline,
are back on the 10.
The linesman's sort of blocked by Dom Young. So when he breaks out, the pass is slightly forward by Connor Watson, but no one picks it up. No one pulls it up because it was such a good play and it looks sharp and they go through. And then let's go to the execution from Connor, the last little bit. Because even though I think it was slightly forward, it was still great work from Connor. The acceleration to go out, the acceleration to bounce out, then square up and make it not look as forward as a lot of other players do, where they really get it wrong.
Hips, mate, turn the upper body.
Mate, his ability to turn the hips and get it back to make it look serviceable and just clean was the last little bit. It was flat. It was flat.
I'll give you that.
Shout out to Connor, it was flat. But they ticked all those boxes. Maybe I'm overdoing it. Maybe I'm thinking a little bit too much into it.
I'm just more or less saying that was a great play, but it was very bad bad communication. This is what happens when you get fucking centers in there and backs in the front, in the forwards that have no idea and don't talk. That's what happens. You're exposing that. Like, look who's there. Look who's in the front row. Look who's in the back row. Who's that left side back row? He's not fucking chasing anything.
Another important part is too the guy, because they made the late shift. The guy who jumps out of the scrum and goes open, they're best.
Yeah,
Isaiah Yeo.
And there's a little bit of things like just say the other front row. I'd be trying to hold the other front rower in. Just a little bit, so he can't get out that quick.
Mate, they didn't even have to, mate.
They didn't even do that.
Because Sorensen breaks so hard because there's no communication. Him and Jenkins both go to Dom Young, or Connor Watson, sorry.
So who got to remote Connor first?
They both got at the same time.
Same time. There's the problem.
Jenkins.
Someone's got to go first.
Yep.
And then you come in behind, and to get to the fucking guy who's getting the ball, you don't ever break off at the same time.
Yep.
How many like trick plays like that would a team have in their playbook?
Oh, you've always got a few. You just
maybe half a dozen. Maybe half a dozen throughout the year. You've got to see the right look for it. You've got to see the right personnel, and the Roosters nailed it.
It's hard to nail.
They had remember Benny Barber and Gal did it?
Yeah, grand final.
That's the best execution.
That was silky.
In
a big moment.
In the biggest moment ever. That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well done to the Roosters.
Well done.
Other than that,
Panthers, I'm not saying they're back. They're just, if they can play like that, they'll beat most teams.
what did I say last week? They're eventually going to go on the run. They're going to be affected by Origin. I still believe that because
Origin
they've got
will fuck
top-tier players in their team, and they'll struggle during that Origin period. Even if it's not them playing on the Origin buys or whatever, affected in and around those games is really going to be problematic for them.
And they play
3 games.
They do play Parramatta twice.
They're going to have 3
off
games.
the back of Origin.
That helps.
They're going to have 3 games where they're going to miss 5 or 6 players.
They'll be better with Mitch this week, tonight as well. Sorry, was that what were you saying?
They're going to have at least 3 games with all their players out.
Yes.
Right? So it's a fucking big deal.
Yep.
Big deal. Because I don't care if they're playing Parramatta or not. Parramatta's always up for that game.
Did you watch the game? Did you see the Roosters-Panthers game?
Aiden's in the background.
Who's going to be half for New South Wales? Moses?
Did you watch Dom Young? Watch Dom Young for me next
see
time.
the hair? Did the hair?
Yeah, it's everywhere. I paused it a couple of times. He's fucking just here, it's one here. I'm
telling you, man.
His nose, everything.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass
In
for
his
him.
mouth.
Marky Mark was pretty good in this game, but he got they targeted him offensively.
No, he was really good.
Yeah,
No one needs to Wasi. I like him.
yeah.
Skill set, mate. That was a slippery ball. Don't overplay your hand, kid. I love it. I love his skill. But like, fuck me. He's got that unit. As soon as the ball hits the ground, bang, ball's up.
Nice execution early on.
Great. He can play, mate. That little flick, beautiful little flick.
Here's my prediction. If fully fit, I think Billy Smith goes back to that left centre position. I reckon Marky Mark goes right wing, and
I reckon Marky
Dom Young might get dropped.
In a couple of years could play back row.
He's big, eh?
Yeah, no, but I reckon he'll figure it out, and then you'll see a lot more like offloads on the inside and out. He's 6 what? He's 6'4", 108, I reckon.
Yeah.
With a skill set that's high. I could see him in the back row. Just a left side back row. Like just think Kai Pearce-Paul.
Yeah.
But like I think at another level. Kai Pearce-Paul's playing some good football.
Yeah. It's a big
I don't mind it. Just say 2 years.
Yep.
If he doesn't want to go back to fucking Union, who knows?
All right, let's get to the Raiders 30 defeating the Titans 20.
Yeah.
In order to be a top team, Mace, you have to win games ugly. Completely missed a jump
You reckon?
in this game. And we'll get to
How the fuck happened?
I don't know.
I was having Easter like a late Easter fucking dinner or whatever, lunch, and I was just like 16-0 already. And I'm just like, and I was just watching with the father-in-law. I said, I bet the Raiders win. They'll get 1 try or 2 tries before half time. I didn't expect 3. Right, 16. I said they'll get the Titans.
When you think about what they've done this year, so Vegas round 1, they had a game against the Cowboys. I think early on, maybe round 2 or 3. They went to Darwin against the Eels.
They had a bit of a run around.
Now they've gone back to Canberra. Then they go to the Gold Coast. And just before the game, we find out that David Fafita and Jaden Campbell.
Are we talking about Titans?
The Raiders.
Yeah, the Raiders.
So
Raiders
like,
will be happy this. They're 4-3.
So you've done all that travel. You've moved around. You're playing good footy. Everyone's starting to wrap you. Then you get into a game and no Jaden Campbell and David Fafita, and you think
easy money.
We're probably going to roll these C's.
Yeah.
I haven't said that word
T's
in a
and
while.
C's.
Been really good at that, T's and C's.
T's and C's.
Cunts.
We'll roll these motherfucking.
We'll roll these cunts.
Roll these motherfuckers.
and it just didn't happen. But credit to them, and this is the sign of a good team, mate. Take your licks early on, figure out what's happening, get yourself back in the game. Tom Starling with a huge effort on Regan Campbell-Gillard. And,
Jesus. I'm not, they didn't, no, that was big, but fucking Tarpanay's hit that got him first.
Clipping the schnoz.
They didn't slow that down or anything, but like he that must be shoulder straight to the head. Exactly. This is. Look,
no. I'll correct you. So, and I agree with this. So he hit him solid shoulder to chest, clipped him with the arm.
Okay,
so come up, must have just gone, and it must have been enough force because Regan's fucking nose didn't stop bleeding the whole time. Bang, clipped him.
So chest first?
Chest first, chest to chest.
Thank God.
Arm to nose.
Thank you. Because I was like, if they didn't slow it down enough and they kept letting it play and then Reggie just keeps staying on, I'm like, get him off, clean his fucking nose up.
But here's the frustration,
then
right?
Starling got him a beauty. But that changed the game.
It did. Here's the frustration, though. You watch that game and then you watch a game next and then Schiller, who I believe Tarps probably had more forceful contact on Regan Campbell-Gillard than Schiller did later on Hiroti, and Schiller gets 10 in the bin. Like because
I think it was direct. Didn't go off the chest.
Schiller was off the ball, skimmed up.
Do you think?
Well. Yeah, fuck all.
Was
in.
it?
Yeah, fuck all.
Oh yeah. Well then this is why we fucking talk about these refs all the time. They can't get it right.
Yeah.
Our boy, the halfback,
Fogarty.
Fogarty is just doing himself the best of favours. Like his price is like that. He's like that. He's 600. Will fucking
750.
He'll get to 750, 800 by round 20 because if they keep winning and he's had the chat with Ricky, Manly want him. I think Manly will be wanting some other halves as well. We'll get to that next game. I think they'll be after one of those guys, the Sharks. I just think that like he's going there, he's killing every single game. So Ricky's probably tried to get him in the meeting going, come and lock in, we'll give you the round 6. He's like, no, I'll hold off, blah, blah, blah. Now it's like they keep winning. His kicking game gets him in games. They know how important a kicking game is, and he's got one of the best in the game. Tackles good clubman, does everything right. Like he's only just doing himself favours. His 600 will turn into 850, not a 2-year deal, probably a 3-year deal.
He's exactly what I said last week, right?
Yeah.
Both teams looks fucking super erratic, except one had Jamal Fogarty and the other team didn't.
I listened to this game coming down the highway on Triple M.
Yeah.
And they went straight to...
What about SEN?
Could have changed over to SEN, mate.
What about SEN? What are you fucking doing, mate?
I know, but to their credit, they had...
Get him out of here.
Fucking traitor. You should only be watching Channel 7 as well too, by the way.
Exactly.
You fucking use from anyone else.
But they went straight to Fogarty after the game and they asked him the question, obviously. The meeting was supposed to be last week. His manager has the flu. So they brushed it until this week.
Isaac Moses?
Bit busy last week. But yeah, he literally said the meeting is this week. They went to Ricky straight after as well.
That's gonna be good.
Ricky said, we'll hopefully get a deal done this week.
I think I'm going down. I think I'm going down round 10. Just have a beer with Rick. It's sticky.
I think I'm calling a game down in a couple of weeks.
As in you're going 10. As well?
Yeah. Stickos get down here, mate.
That's mad.
Yeah, all right.
All right. What are the other parts?
The show.
What about the fucking edges? Huddy Young.
Oh, mate.
So how about this, right? I was listening to Sticky in the presser after. Huddy Young, this is 3 doubles in a row. This hasn't been done since Beaver Menzies. Yeah. And you know what's a real strength for recruitment for the Raiders right now, the way that the representative coaches are set up? You have Mel and Laurie as the coaches for Australia and New South Wales right now.
And who's your best mates?
Now, I'm not going to say that you're going to be gifted a jersey, but it's going to be, you're going to be getting good reports like a guy like Hudson Young who is going to play Origin this year, I guarantee it.
Well, 100%. It does help.
And he deserves it.
It helps. Like Loz is there, and I think, as I said, like Crichton's under the most pressure for a starter in that team. I think Crichton, why didn't he play on the weekend? Was he injured?
Groin? Tweaked his groin in the first half of the Broncos game and played on.
You lose your leg drive a little bit in the next couple of weeks, right? Leading into Origin, not feeling 100%. Huddy Young's just doing doubles and running through everybody, playing like a machine. Was the starting back rower in that Australian team at the end of the year.
Yep. Was that because Angus missed out too, actually?
I think so.
Because Angus was a late scratching, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Something happened. He got injured at the back end.
Yes. So, I don't know. I just think...
Open up the door, right?
It'll open the door up, and Huddy's going to take it because I think he's a form back rower in the comp at the moment.
Could be form player in the comp, not only back rower.
Yeah, I'm just saying because of Crichton has been... Roosters going okay. They won on the weekend. He didn't play. You know what I mean? Like, it's just little things like that. This one little door closes and injuries happen just before Origin, and then you got this young little bull down there who's just going mad because I don't see him as a bench player.
No.
I don't see him as a bench player. I think they tried to do that a little bit and he just wasn't getting enough minutes, and they need to it's all about picking bench players, right?
He wasn't playing this consistent at the Raiders when he got picked for them too. Now he's playing really good consistent footy for the Raiders week in, week out. That's the difference.
And back to what you said, Stick has a lot of influence on the rep scene, mate.
Yeah.
He does. He still does.
Yeah, for sure he does. The bench made a huge difference in this game, in my opinion, mate. And when I was thinking about watching the Bulldogs, how not only does the bench come on and steady the ship, they take it to another level.
Yeah, man, Tupanua.
Yep.
Like another level.
Same for the Raiders. They've got Mariota that comes off the bench. They've got Hoskins that comes off the bench.
Yep.
Morgan Smithies comes off the bench. They were actually the middle three for the Raiders started the first 5 minutes unreal.
Big Papa come off the bench late?
No, he started the game.
Did he start it?
He started the game.
The last 6 minutes, okay.
And then they got interchanged, and the bench had that much of an impact that Desi threw Tino back on the field after he got interchanged about 5 minutes in.
Yeah.
He's like, we're losing control.
I don't know why he did that. I mean, I do get it, but you got to trust your bench a little bit to try and hold him a little bit. You can't. You got to give him a little bit of a rest. So the back end he's not so fatigued because he does nearly everything in there. You got Fodawaker and all those blokes; they can do a job for there. Jolliffe, you did drop that ball and a couple of things. You don't make drastic changes like that.
You got to show some faith.
You got to show some faith and and what does that do to a young kid? Like you fucking come on for 5 minutes and you drop ball, you miss a tackle, you just lose the ascendancy in the ruck. It happens in the game now. Bang straight off, get Tino back on. Like you're like, the fuck is this? You start questioning the coach. I thought the back five for Raiders look sharp again. They look good. They save him. Even though Timoko dropped a few balls and Hot Tamale will drop a few balls right at the end, right in that middle bit where the Titans sort of started to come back, just off mistakes of the Raiders coming out of yardage. So they cut that off.
Yeah,
they do run hard.
Yeah, they run hard.
And it's the fucking impact, and people are going. Players are going for the ball now, so they just need to be a little bit more wary of that.
All right, the Titans, mate, they started on unreal. Even when Brimo scored those first two, or set up the first two, I hate to be negative, but even that looked messy, and I feel like I'm harping on, and it's becoming not bullying, but feel like I'm sort of picking on Brimo as a 6.
He's not a 6.
But you can't replicate even that success that he had early on in the game, where it was high energy, right? They fucking would come out, they were pumped up. He stepped up. No Jaden Campbell, right? This is my opportunity to go hard in this game. But it was so erratic, and it was like the kicks were off the shin still and all that sort of jazz. And I was I was the same as you.
That chip and chase was beautiful, but
it was nice. It was so nice, but it didn't bounce end over end. It's like landed on its side and sort of popped up in the air. But you know what? If you kick and chase hard, you get rewarded, and that's what he does really well. I just don't know if that's a 5'8" type of play.
They just look so all over the place. I'm not sure who the 7 come in. Weaver just not up to it, at that level. He was all right, but the halves just. That's when you need to steady the ship, get a good kicking game, get your kick chase right, play the field position. Once they're on the back foot, they're just fuck, we just try and score from every position. It doesn't work like that. You need your halves to get you back into the game with a kicking game, with a high completion rate, putting them in corners, getting your kick chase right, all those little things, not just fucking bang bang, have a quick little spread here, come back to the middle. It looked like their halves are just on totally different pages. Brimo's not a 6.
Whenever I watch a Titans game, I have no idea what their shape looks like week to week.
It's just give the ball to Tino and Fodawaker, see if we can get forward a little bit, and then just play footy.
Yeah,
a little bit of a block shape here and there. Fafita's in there. He doesn't really know. He's Fafita's on the left or right. Fermor does his
Fafita
thing.
didn't play in this game.
I know Fafita does now, but when he plays,
normally when he does play,
it's just like he's getting a lot of, he takes dummy half scoots. He gets one off the ruck. He'll go short sides. He'll get to the open. He'll play block. He'll be on the back of a block shape. It's like,
how do you play off the back of the
how do you why can't they have some sort of structure? Like where you don't want to structure him too much because they've got so much football, but like Des Hasler's built on that.
Yeah.
He's a structured man. Yeah. Every play's a play, right? They miss 4 and I put 4 in straight at 7, Campbell straight to 6, and fucking putting Brimson straight to fullback.
Yeah, I think so. Especially with no Keanu Kinney.
No Keanu Kinney.
And then whatever the conversation looks like.
DeGroo's been playing good.
DeGroo was good.
He's good, but still no Brimo. I want Brimo to play full. I want him, he's the best fullback. He's still a fucking top 10 fullback.
Yep, agreed.
He's just wasting his talent there.
All right,
He's doing a job, but they won't win these games.
Big month coming up. No JC and Fafita for at least a month each. Campbell and high ankle sprain. Fafita hammy. Sharks 34 defeat the Knights 14. This is exactly how the Sharks want to win games too. Power through the middle, work hard defensively, and the beauty of it. And this is probably the game that I had the worst read on all weekend, and it was the last game of the Sunday slate.
Did you go to Sharks or Knights?
I went Knights with the start. Oh. I was anticipating Adam not playing. That was a big part of it. But the Sharks were impressive, and they had another gear. I thought they would just did this. They did this game in second or third gear, in my opinion.
Easy.
So it's also like Knights are that bad at the moment, but also Sharks could have gone to another level, in my opinion.
We'll get to the Knights, but Sharks look pretty good. Have they figured it out with the Trindle and Nico? Here's
where I think, watching this game, Nico looked really controlled and composed in this, so this is a good get right for game for Nico. And they're still trying to figure it out, but the concerns that we had for them as halves, I don't think it concerns them. I think he wants to play that dink and dunk style of footy. I think that's who they think they...
Do you think that they as I alluded to before, like with Trindle, would Trindle would he want to go, leave somewhere else and just be the halfback for Manly? Yeah, I think he's.
I think he only just
but contracts don't mean shit, obviously. You know what I mean? So just say Manly go, okay, he's a 3-year deal at fucking $800 a year. He's underpaid there. Nico gets to run the whole team because I think there's still one of them. They're Batman and Robin, right? No, they're not Batman and Robin. It's just like they're fucking nearly equal at the moment.
They are Jeff Hardy and they're the tag team competition. What's the Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy?
It's like you don't know who's running.
Well, here's my point. I think Nico's taken a back step for the big play.
I fucking don't want him to. Yeah.
And he's happy for Trindle to be the playmaker.
Pay dude 1.2 mil to do that. I know.
That seems to be the way they want to do it.
That's what they're going to do. Yeah. I mean,
you compared him to Jacko Hastings. Yeah. I think there's a world in which you're not far off.
Yeah, I'm just like, I think Nico has way more talent than that.
But here's the thing, and this is where it looked okay on the weekend. No, here's how it looked on the weekend. So he was able to play that game managing style, but he also come up with a couple of nice plays off the back of it this week. So. Is it because the Knights are shit through the middle? That's a factor right now. Or not Knights are shit. Knights are nowhere near their best right now. And I think that's the style they're trying to play.
Fair enough. See if it works.
Yeah, we'll see.
If it works against some decent teams, because the Knights is not the Litmus test. Litmus test. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just thinking. I was thinking the other day. I was just like, all right, what if someone comes up to Trindle's management and just goes, fucking, because Manly need a 7.
Yeah.
Proper 7, right?
See, I don't think he's a proper 7. That's the thing.
You don't reckon he's a 5'8"?
I think he's a hybrid player. I think it matters who you partner
I reckon right now, I don't even care. 7s and 6s are pretty much the same players.
I'm thinking
apart from a Munster.
I'm thinking about Brooks and Trindle, and I'm like, that could cause some, I don't think that works.
Because I think Brooks is a runner. Well, I don't know. I just think someone like...
It's definitely out there.
One person just needs to run that team. When that team was on... I don't know. Maybe they need to make it work.
All right, let's watch for this moving forward, now that I've said it. Watch for Nico controlling the ball and Braden Trindle to have the try-assist, X-factor, all that sort of stuff.
Play.
And then we'll see how that works in the next couple of weeks. Yeah. Because they're going to be a team that's going to go through the origin period, not have fuck all
Yeah.
Have a lot of stability, and they're going to go on a run through the Origin period. The Sharks.
Table look like. They got everything. The Sharks. That's what I'm saying. Like they just got everything.
Yeah.
I reckon they can win the comp.
Where are they? I don't think they can win.
Sharks are
Six. No, not win it. But like they could be top 4 team. Raiders are coming. Storm, Bulldogs, Storm, Raiders, Warriors, Broncos, Sharks, Dragons, and Rabbits. That's the top 8.
Give me a look. Sorry, so flick that over.
The Bulldogs.
Yeah, no, I've got it here. I'm going to get it here. Now let's talk it out. Ready? By the end of, let's say, Origin, because I reckon that's the litmus test through Origin period. Broncos are going to be affected. Storm are going to be affected. I think Warriors won't be affected. I'm confident that by the end of the Origin period, the Bulldogs won't be affected that much. Bulldogs, Raiders, and Sharks are top 4 after Origin finishes. I can't. There's no other team that I'm confident in, just because of the Storm of the other team that have got class, but they will lose Munster, Xavier Coates. Harry's already missing right now.
Question for the Bulldogs. Remember how they've always put pressure on that 19th man? It's always been Burden, and he's missed games because of it. Yeah. How much pressure comes for him to stay?
Jeez, I think Burton should. He'd be. Fuck.
It's hard, eh?
What, when do they pick Origin? 4 weeks? 5 weeks?
Less. It'd be after the 11th, round 11. They'd be picking teams.
I think round 12's the first bye, so then 13, yeah. So round 12 is when they have the bye, so you get rid of the teams that are affected.
I mean, he'll be around the mix for the 17, to be in the 17 straight away. You know, because he can play everywhere in the back line, and he could play probably lock and, back row if need be.
Last week of May or something?
He could play 9 if you wanted to put him at 9. Like, he can play everywhere. So I look at Birdo and go, even for the last couple of years, and go, he should be the first one picked in most teams, because he can play so many teams, so many positions, very versatile. He can just play footy.
You know, he's a genuine shout. Carraz. No no Zach Lomax at the moment.
Be good if Carraz got in there, do a job for him.
No Turbo.
Fuck.
All right, let's get to the Knights. We'll finish off with the Knights and we're done. Knights may never have won this game, but Kennedy gave them absolutely zero chance in this game. The sharp no try when Nico tackles Thomas Cant.
What do you think about that?
He makes I don't know, for whatever reason it changed for that rule this week.
Stopped in the line, but
he tackled him.
Yeah.
Thomas can't get through the line if Nico tackles him.
Yeah, he tackled him. It's not like he stopped and then Nico just falls over.
And Ashley Klein caught it live and Kennedy still overruled him.
Fucking hate that. It changed the game.
It changed the game. The Sheila Sinbrin in later on. But also, Jesse Ramian has Greg Marzu's arm behind his body and is like ripping it off. And here's what I thought straight away. I was like, why aren't they calling this? Why aren't they calling this? That's a penalty, whatever. Later on, they come back. Ashley comes up. By the way, Jesse, you're on report for what do they call it?
Chicken wing.
Chicken wing. And I wrote, the reason Ashley Klein didn't pick that up is because he's not thinking about chicken wings right now, because it's not the flavour of the year. They're looking at hip drop tackles and they're looking at high contact, and he just totally forgot, oh shit, you're not allowed to chicken wing a player as well.
Forgot about that.
You forgot about that. He'll
Probably
get suspended.
One of the worst things you can do in the game, forgot about it.
Jesse Ramian will get suspended for it, 100%.
He should. He fucking nearly twisted his arm off. What is this? Is this Klein our number one ref?
No.
Fuck no.
Anyway.
Reffing since 2004.
Kennedy and Klein were awful.
It just reminded me of something to show you.
Newcastle, but let me get one thing.
Yeah.
Newcastle may never have won the game, but they just were never given a chance. But they look soulless at the moment.
Yeah.
Have you got something for us right now, Lukey, before I get into some?
It's on ref chat.
Okay.
I got to find it first.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
All right, I'll go through this. I was watching both clubs before and after games and even at halftime. Newcastle look, I think the Dylan Brown signature has divided the playing group from the coaching staff and the club at the moment. What I mean by that, I was watching the pre-game and at halftime, and both Fitzy and Adam O'Brien were addressing the team. Cronulla Sharks were super locked in, engaged. Fuck all from the Knights. Adam O'Brien was sitting there chatting, and I was looking at the body language going, fuck, because it was the only game that I completely got wrong over the weekend, and I want to, I just want to be right.
Yeah.
When I start predicting games, I want to be right. I remember going before the game going, Knights are going to get fucking towed up in this game.
I sort of look at that and go,
Have you got it?
yeah,
Before we
hang on,
move?
like just say with Gamble, I know I've had my like little tussle with him, but fuck, he doesn't belong in first grade. You know what I mean? Like he's not your 7. He doesn't.
He's not a 7.
He's not a 7. He's a 14. He can't run that fucking. You cannot have Gamble and Sharp as your halves.
No,
You can't,
agreed.
mate. Like he's just like he ruins things. His kicking game is subpar. Like everything is very, very average. Like you need a gun 6 or something. He needs a lot of help around him, mate. That's not the answer there.
I don't think so. To be fair, and I agree with you on a lot of
Fuck,
things.
mate.
He is not necessarily not a first grader. He's just not a 7 with Sharp, and I think he'd be a gun 14.
Even defensively, right? That little short ball. What are you turning in for?
Which one? The short ball?
Oh,
Which
it
one?
was in the second half. I don't know who scored. I think bloody T. Wilton scored it or someone like that. It was a beautiful ball to someone in the second half. It was
That's
just like
escaping
it was just
For a direct try?
direct try. Just turns his shoulders in. It's just dumb. It was silly defense.
Oh, the Harodi try.
Harodi try, mate.
Harodi. So when
You
he
just,
skipped
mate,
across
yeah,
field,
just skip the cross. Just stay square. Get your body in front. It's a hard tackle, mate. If you can't be that good with the ball, you've got to be a gun defender, right? Be an elite kicker. Do everything that you just say because you're not a great attacker or anything like that, or a good defender. Be a great defender and a good kicker.
Well, here's where I can help, and this is what I wrote down off the back of your point, and I agree with you,
Yeah.
mate. I agree with you. So I wrote KP has to kick more,
Yeah.
especially when Gamble is 7.
Yep.
And I agree because like my part of it is Gamble is not a good kicker of the footy.
No.
I think I want him to have 3 or 4 kicks max per game. And Kalen, for all the reasons I said, which will benefit Dylan when he gets there next year, when Kalen can kick it, he's the last line of defence.
Yeah.
Then you get the full line of kick chase.
Yeah.
What's Tyson Gamble good at?
Just puts up little.
So Tyson effort things, right? So you want Campbell on kick chase.
Yeah.
Because if Kalen puts it up into a corner, Gamble's the
Jam-
sort of guy that's
jam
going to
in,
chase
yeah.
hard and rip in, right?
He's an effort player. Like
Yeah.
he has a max effort. He does all the grubby shit, but he's just when he's a starter, he's just not a starter in the NRL.
not a starting 7.
He's not a starter in the NRL.
I think
14.
I think he can start with a good 7. With a good 7, he could be a complimentary 6, and I think he'd be a really good 14.
He's been around the blocks for 5
We
years.
can finish
He
the
still
show
hasn't
with this
proven
one.
it.
Have you done the segment?
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
done.
we're done.
So Peter Goff has now elevated to thirst trap TikTok.
First strap. Look, why is he rocking the fade too?
So I just found
What is
that
it?
funny.
What's the point of that?
What do
It's
you
just
mean?
someone. It's like that's a thirst trap song. Sort of people edit for like
'cause he's a-
glamours and
'cause he's
stuff.
a glamour.
So then someone's cut Peter Goff highlights into a
I was
thirst
looking
TikTok.
at his hair and I'm just like, who's rocking these fades? These Aussie boys.
Why can't the refs get a fade, mate? You Todd Smith.
I'm just saying. Are they going to Barbarians?
Yeah.
They're going to Barbarians to get a fresh fade.
Hey.
Come on Wednesdays with me. I want to see it.
I just love someone's had to sit there, cut clips, and then put the thirst trap.
so
Mate, it's
funny.
hilarious. Just the fades. And who's my favourite guy of the fade? The redhead.
Todd Smith.
Todd Smith.
Look good, ref good.
Gab the bag. I love it. Oh, they're all rocking fades, man. Get some. I don't know. I want to see a man bun or something soon.
Yeah, they need to hit that Ashley Klein fade.
Yeah, get that Klein fade going.
Ashley Decline.
Yeah, decline the fade. Let's go.
All right, that's it, mate. We're
Yeah.
off to the game later on tonight. I'll be calling that game for
you calling
SEN.
it?
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Let's get more footy.
Are you going with Lukey? No.
Why? What the fuck?
I got so much going on.
Well, what are you doing?
I got the podcast rail this weekend. Then we're in Magic Round.
Yeah, and then
Fuck,
we'll
just so much
we've got heaps
coming
coming up.
I'm just simmering till the magic round.
Yeah.
It'll be 16 weeks.
Let's go. Enjoy the game. We'll
sorry.
see you. We're going to be a little bit early, but still dropping the same time, Thursday afternoon.
About lunchtime Thursday.
Okay. All right, because we'll be
All right.
filming on Wednesday night.
Okay.
See you later.
See you guys.